Welcome to AHN Friday Night Rival, presented by Mr. Magic. Kevin, this is a Rams offense that is going to look to replace 5 starters on its offensive line, but they have a stud in their running back in McLean Miller. He goes by Mac Miller, and that's who you're going to see on the field first for this Rams offense. Had a tremendous game against Hilliard-Davidson of Ohio back on Friday. Rushed for over 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. A tremendous athlete.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch him on film, you know, they've had a lot of the same DNA as far as how they attack you, but this guy, he's a little bit different. He's 5'9", small, compact, but as coach said, you know, he's kind of anything for the team type guy, and he's a workhorse, so he may look different, but produces the same results as the guys before him that have carried the ball for Pine.
Billy Leck puts a nice boot into it. That's a touchback, and Billy Leck made a 45-yard field goal this past Saturday against St. Francis. Holds a Division I offer from Akron for this Central Catholic team. So, Kevin, we talked about special teams last week, and once again this week that could be a difference maker, as you see your AHN Sports Medicine starting lineups. That quarterback for Pine-Richland, yes, one of the best names in Western Pennsylvania, Ubi Strader.
Ubi, he's that man, right?
He is.
Yeah, he brings a new dynamic to this offense. You know, they've had some success here over the last few years, especially 2 years ago when Palmieri took over the helm, gave them a dynamic of running and really throwing the ball in this offense. And he kind of gives you that and potentially even more. So, excited for him tonight.
He took over in Week 6 last year against Central Catholic, led the Rams to a 26-19 win. It was a short gain for Miller there on the first play of the game. Ever since, though, Kev, since Ubi has taken over, his team 7-1. Their only loss, of course, being to Peters Township in the 5A Whitfield Championship last season.
Yeah, I was able to connect with some of the coaches before the game, and they talked about his maturity and his just overall IQ. Comes from a football family as well, so.
High snap, Ubi able to recover it, and he is slammed. Meet Cole Bayer of the Central Catholic defense.
Yeah, it just looked like that exchange right there wasn't clean. And you got to be, got a mistake-free football like we kind of talked about here in the pregame.
Yeah, we just saw Cole Bayer for the Central Catholic defense for your AHN Sports Medicine starting lineups, making his presence known. Also, can't forget about number 11 in the middle. Linebacking core, Bradley Gompers, a Duke commit for the Vikings.
It's a 3rd and long situation here, backed up in your own end zone. They were ahead of the sticks there on first down, but here now they're backed up.
Rams on their own 13-yard line. 3rd and 17 for Strader out of the gun. Strader trying to extend the play. He's flushed out of the pocket. Strader trying to make something happen. Will slip out of bounds short of the sticks.
Yeah, did a good job there. We're seeing on the perimeter there, you have 2 elite defenders in Xavier Thomas, right? And who's that other? Xavier Thomas and Jaden Gardenhire. Both of those guys are elite defenders. It's going to be big for the receivers here in the pass game to be able to get off the jams. We saw Ubi kind of have his eyes downfield. His first look wasn't there, and he escaped the pocket. Picked up some good yards, didn't force it.
He got 10, but Roman Thompson was there to knock him out of bounds. Thompson, a 4-time state wrestling champion, also holds a Division I offer from Akron. And a whistle blows. And a timeout by Central Catholic. Kevin, we've been talking about special teams a lot. How about Pine-Richland's kicker and punter? Senior Grant Ardro. He's a 4.5-star recruit. And we're going to see him when he comes back onto the field. He holds a Division I offer from Akron. He'll be right back. We'll wait for the punt here on 22 The Point. Central Catholic, Pine-Richland, up next. Welcome back to Pine-Richland Stadium. Darren Zaslow and the Pine-Richland Hall of Famer himself, former pro quarterback Kevin McCabe. Glad to be with you here. Pine-Richland 3 and out on their first drive. They're forced to punt here on 4th and 7 at their own 23. Grant Ardro to boot it away. And back deep for Central Catholic, the Penn State commit, 5'11" Xavier Thomas. Kevin, watch out. Punt angles to the far sideline, out of bounds. A nice field position here, Kev, for Central Catholic to take over.
Hey, listen, limit the explosive plays. That's what we talked about, right? So those guys are pretty dynamic there as return men. right? No extra hitting yardage there. Good job.
Get all of your overnight sports news, information, and opinion each morning with Tim Benz of the Pittsburgh Tribune Review at Breakfast with Benz. It's Monday through Friday at triplive.com. Great field position for Central Catholic. They'll take over at the 50-yard line. And you're going to see a new quarterback for the Vikings. That's Jair Walls. Walls, 6'2", senior, 195 pounds. Against St. Francis this past Saturday, 7 of 13, 164 yards and a touchdown. Kevin Walls has waited his turn behind Peyton Wainer, the school's all-time passing leader and touchdown leader. Walls patient in the pocket, flushed out, and a flag comes out. We talked to head coach Ryan Lehmeyer, Kevin, and he really touted Walls with his ability to just stick with the plan, to trust the process. If you
Does he want it?
And that's exactly what has happened to earn Walls the starting job.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, Central Catholic quarterbacks become the
Offense, number 52, 10-yard play, first down.
They get a lot of guys that want to vie for that position. Watching him on film, saw a lot of things that we really liked. I mean, last week was a tough, was a tough assignment for your first start going against a nationally powerhouse team. But he looked the part. Kind of looked for him to pick up where Peyton Wainer left off last year, and I think he adds kind of a new dynamic too. Just kind of a different size, a different package.
Holding on Matt Bowers sets the Vikings back 10 for 1st and 20. Here's Elijah Faulkner with a head of steam. Elijah Faulkner in the Rams territory, and a nice start for the Vikings.
Really good job up front. You see the Central Catholic line; they have some behemoths on them, some young guys too. They're all 6'3", 6'4". Look for those guys to establish that tough mentality up front.
Pickup of 14 for Faulkner. He's ripped down in the backfield. What a nice play by this Pine-Richland defense. Impressive.
Yeah, really good job. Shooting the gap there. As we see Central Catholic going to a little bit of a faster pace, up-tempo, they're multiple, as Coach Lehmeyer had said. But really what the system is they like to play fast, right? Get as many plays in as possible.
That was Sam Heckert on the stop. Here's Wall stepping up in the pocket, going to rifle it to the far sideline. It's caught, but still short of the sticks. Completion made to Max Roman, the 5'10 sophomore. So what do you do here, Kevin, early in the game on a 4th and 6 at the Rams 46?
I think Coach Lehmeyer, as you see the punt team come out, I'm not trying to force it right now. They didn't really have any continuity on that first drive, so, maybe if there was something to hang your hat on that you liked and you saw there, but a couple plays that went backwards. Choppy series there.
Tanner Cunningham back deep for Pine-Richland. Leck gets the punt away. It'll angle towards that far sideline inside the 20. Nice punt from Leck. And Pine-Richland backed up once again to start.
Yeah. Field possession game already, Darren, right?
Yep.
So now Pine-Richland has to put together a multiple play drive or a long drive here with the field to work and get into scoring territory. I think, for Pine-Richland, that kind of plays into their success, right? Establish the run game, get some dominance up front. That's what they did last year to really keep this, neutralize this Central Catholic offense.
We're going to get to see Ubi Strader again. Football, Kev, just runs through this Strader family. Ubi's brother, Rayon, freshman All-American defensive back at Miami of Ohio last year, had 57 total tackles. He's a 2023 Penn Hills alum, is his brother, Rayon. So football running through this Strader family. Ubi's next in line to make it happen. Strader over the middle. Nice catch. Eli Wentz and a first down, Rams.
Good throw here on 1st and 10. Just a little timing route right there. Doing a good job reading it high-low. Way to make a play there on 1st and 10, getting positive yardage.
Amari Shields on the stop for Central Catholic. Probably wondering, Ubi, where does the name Ubi come from? Well, Kevin, Ubi loved watching the Nickelodeon program Ubi. Back in the early 2000s, it was a program that featured hand puppets, and kids loved it, and he loved the show Ubi, and now you call him Ubi.
I'd like to think that I remember that, Darren, but I was 22, I guess, right around that time.
Yeah, I was trying to remember it too, as Ubi there didn't have too much room to work with. He's tackled near the line of scrimmage, but again, I think definitely the running cap for one of the best names in Western Pennsylvania football.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an electric player as well, right? So he kind of adds a dynamic of the namesake, but Yeah, coaches were raving about him. I remember watching him last year. Comes from that football lineage. The quarterback situation here at Pine-Richland over the last few years, when they've got it going, I mean, that's whenever they made the switch to Palmieri. You know, they made that stretch run and won the state title.
2nd and 11. Ubi fakes the give. Over the middle has a man. Jay Timmons into Central territory.
Wow. Jay Timmons, I think that's the son of the Pittsburgh linebacker, great Lawrence Timmons, right?
Pickup of 22. Timmons also holding a Division I offer from Akron. Watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we talk about the skill guys from Central Catholic, but look at these guys over here in the perimeter from Pine-Richland as well. They have some guys that can put their foot in the ground and go score quickly.
They did that against Hilliard-Davidson of Ohio on Friday. Rams won 35-24. Flag flies on the field, movement on the line. Strader in that game, 11 of 14 for 74 yards. He was efficient. And that yardage volume is going to get up there, too, when you put up those kind of numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from a young guy, you know, even though he got some experience starts last year as a freshman, but...
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And our referee is Curry Ripley as the false start penalty sets the Rams back 5.
Yeah, he'll continue to get his reps and his shots. And, you know, he looks like, you know, coming from that football family, he lives and breathes it, so... You know, the coaches will give him more responsibility and playbook will open up as they see fit.
1st and 15, Pine-Richland. About 5 minutes gone by here in our opening quarter. From the Central 48, Strader gonna unload near sideline, has a man, and unable to make the grab is Timmons. Kev, he had him.
He did. He had a step on him. I know that watching Ubi in pregame, I know that he could throw the ball a country mile. Looked like this ball just kind of hung up. Gave his receiver still a shot to make a play here. The DB did a good job of getting his hand up there at the last second and knocking it away.
Maybe underthrew him just a tad.
Yeah, if he had that back, he probably would have drove it a little bit more, but
Yeah.
at least, you know, you still gave your receiver a chance to go up there and make a play.
This is a Pine-Richland offense that runs a modified pro-style look with that RPO game. Here's Mac Miller. Gets back to near the original line of scrimmage, and have Pine-Richland going to face another 3rd and long.
There's that man, Bradley Gomper, scraping over from the backside, making that tackle. They moved Bradley Gompers to kind of more of what they call their
money position.
Money position, right?
Sure.
That kind of line up in the slot. But they we see on film, even against last week against the powerhouse with the athletes that St. Francis has, he was running all over the field, covering the slot and making tackles in the box.
Strader guns it over the middle. What a catch. Jay Timmons at the sticks. It's going to be very close.
Yeah,
they're going to move him.
Moving the sticks. Watching this throw. Really good job of hanging in the pocket right there, letting that play develop downfield. The receiver ran a dig route, just about a 15-yard in-breaking route across his face. And Ubi doing a really good job of throwing these timing routes.
And Kevin, looks like he's grown, right? Sure, he's added on some muscle in the offseason. It's just a tight spiral coming out of his hands. And Jay Timmons, speaking of hands,
yeah,
smooth.
I mean, he's a young kid, right? I mean, he was a freshman last year. I don't know if he's 14, 15, but, you know, these kids get a lot of development now in the offseason and their own maturity. These kids are a really special player.
Straight to the end zone. Timmons is there. He's unable to hang on to it.
Wow,
another good look.
Knock away there.
Yeah, another good look. Take another look.
They really like this matchup down here with Timmons, right, against Gardenhire. Really good job, though, making a play at the last second. That was the second time that he felt like he had a step. And just the ball kind of slightly overthrown. You see they're not overthrowing the ball and letting your guy get a chance to go up and make a play. Maybe, you know, maybe throw it with a little bit more anticipation, if you say, because you have that step on him. But
sure,
still, really like what I'm seeing from Ubi and the confidence in the coaching staff to give him a lot of these downfield throws, right?
Yep, getting vertical, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Whistle blows, timeout, Pine-Richland. You like what you're seeing, though, from the Rams offense?
Oh, my gosh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we talk about that it was going to be a physical game up front, which they're still kind of they're establishing that, but really Ubi Strader kind of leading these guys right now. Nice dynamic.
Still no score here on 22 The Point. Pine-Richland, Central Catholic. We'll be right back. Kevin, the Rams have had their chances, and they're trying to get vertical against this very stout Central Catholic defense.
Yeah, seen a second 10 right here.
What a stop.
Yeah, really good job right there out of the break.
Angelo Pugliano saying hi to Mac Miller.
They didn't know out of the break right there if they were going to design some type of play action, take a shot, the way that they did right before on 1st and 10. Good job of putting those guys in a 3rd and long situation right now. We've seen Ubi Strader be able to convert some of these 3rd and longs, 3rd and 8, 9, 10. Still, you don't want to force it. At the same time, if you're the coaches, you feel a lot more comfortable and confident in him being able to execute and keeping the drive moving. Even if you cut it down in half here, maybe you're either in field goal territory or, you know what, you can go for it in 4th down territory.
Snap to Strader. Looking left. Feels the heat. Goes down. Welcome to the Central Catholic defense. That's Deron Goodwine with a good play.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? This group definitely needs a little bit of boost of confidence after last week, the tough task that they had. So these guys are, we talk a lot about the Central Catholic offense, but that front four up front for Central Catholic on defense, look for those guys to kind of make a name for themselves and try to be difference makers tonight.
So Pine-Richland will boot it away. Xavier Thomas with the fair catch inside his own 20. That's where Central Catholic will take over. What are you looking here, Kevin, from the Central Catholic offense?
I think, for the first time right now, putting some consecutive drives together, or first downs. We always say that, but, as a play caller, as a coach, you just want to see them have some success, right? Get the jitters out. After the first couple first downs, right, then you start kind of getting in your rhythm and finding the flow. But, look for those guys to kind of do what they do best, play fast and up-tempo.
So here's Jair Walls leading this Central Catholic offense from the quarterback position. Walls with the give. There's Faulkner, able to make something happen really out of nothing there initially.
Yeah, high snap, be able to corral it. Faulkner looks like, he's a downhill runner, man. He gets his knees going. He's tough to bring down. Good
Two
pickup.
Receivers to the left of the formation. Walls moving quickly. Here's Faulkner off tackle, spinning, and he goes nowhere. It's a loss on the play for Faulkner. Dane Wilden, the first to get to him.
Yeah, good job by Dane there, stringing it out. Keeping gap integrity up front, defensive line for the Pine-Richland Rams. Staying stout. Coach talks about controlling the line of scrimmage. I think, that's the message both offensive and defensively.
That's right? Exactly right. Walls looking, firing, and he has a man, and that's a first down. It's Max Roman able to come down with it.
On both sides now, seeing the quarterbacks convert these 3rd and long situations. It's a really good job right there, sticking in the pocket and throwing that comeback to the boundary, moving the sticks.
Really nice. Faulkner, another carry, and he's hitting his own backfield. This Rams defense all over the run game.
Yeah, they're challenging Central right now. They like their matchups they have, right? They're playing head up on the receivers at the outside and basically saying, hey, we think we have enough beef up front to be able to thwart your run game. We want to see you beat us in the pass game. So at some point you think that, maybe they'll take some shots there on 1st and 10 down the field.
That was Josh Smith on the tackle for Pine-Richland. Here's Walls firing over the middle. Had a wide open Gompers. Kevin, that could have been 6.
Yeah, you know what? I know Bradley Gompers is going to be thinking about that one. Hopefully not, because he's playing a lot of snaps both ways. But that ball was on him, and I think 9 times out of 10 he comes in with that. Just so happened to be not that time, and Pine-Richland kind of count your lucky stars right there that he didn't catch that and get upfield. 2 would-be touchdowns we've seen thus far. 1 from each team. Yeah, some missed opportunities. Kind of waiting for the first shoe to drop here.
3rd and 11, Central Catholic from their own 30. Walls going deep over the middle, has Xavier Thomas. Bye-bye, X-Man. Walls to Thomas from 70 for 6.
That's that matchup, right, that we were talking about just 2 plays ago. These guys are difference makers on the outside, and I love Pine-Richland's confidence to play them head up. But you can see here they brought a blitz, they protected it and picked it up. And just really hard. I don't know if Eli Wentz was expecting help over the top, but really, really good execution there by Central Catholic. Great answer, huh?
Thomas and Walls connected for a touchdown against St. Francis on Saturday. They do so again tonight, and it looks like they want to go for two, potentially. Interesting, Kevin.
Yeah.
They're going to go for two, one-on-one. Walls, Gompers, he's got it.
He made up for that drop. All right. That was a heck of a play right there. Just Central Catholic having playmakers and just threw a one-on-one fade to the backside.
Leaping over DeJuan Webb-Higgs. Kevin, I think that Jair Walls throws a nice football, huh?
He really is. It kind of makes people forget about Peyton Wayner pretty quick. This guy's going to be a problem here in the Whitfield this year.
Ryan Lehmeyer talking about Walls. He said, look, people typically in life, and especially nowadays in sports, when you're not happy, you leave. And Jair Walls was Peyton Wayner's backup the last 2 years. Walls made the most of his time, learned from Wayner's preparation. He's ready to take the keys to the car, and right now that car is motoring down the road.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, that second drive right there was all in the pass game. Completing the third and long, right? Then they just had that touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Really good job. Really good answer.
Getting that touchdown previously from Walls to Thomas, brought to you by Export Tire. Export Tire, we do tires, and we do them right.
Darren, I just have to give a special shout out to the PRTV. I was 25 years ago, I was part of the inaugural PRTV class back in 1999.
How about that, Kevin?
Yes,
That is
Steve Karpinski.
How about that?
Yep.
The head coach of PRTV, if you will, right? We can call him that.
Absolutely.
So there you have it. Pine-Richland able to get their offense here back on the field, facing an 8-point deficit early on.
Yeah, as much as they're going to the air attack here for Ubi Strader, you know, Pine-Richland's identity is to establish their run game. I'd look for that early on right now.
So here's Mac Miller with a touch in the backfield. Rumbles ahead for maybe one. Kevin, when this Pine-Richland offense has been best here tonight, I know we've only played one quarter, but has it been off of that RPO game and getting straight or vertical?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, a lot of their downfield pass game has just been, you know, the traditional pocket passing. So, you know what? Their RPO game really hasn't been, you know, part of the overall success tonight. It doesn't mean that they're not going to, you know, display a heavy dose of it here throughout the game.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So Pine-Richland will happily take that off the encroachment penalty. 2nd and 7. Now will become 2nd and 2.
You know, I think as a play caller, you have a package of plays that you like in situations, whether it's 1st and 10, 2nd and short, or in plus territory. You know, and the bulk of their plays, you know, they want to just get positive yards, and a lot of that will come off that RPO run game.
Strader. Another give up the middle. This is guess who? Mac Miller rumbling for a Rams first down past the 40.
Yeah, that's the RPO game right there. Just playing a numbers game. How many guys are you putting in the box compared to, you know, what you're covering on the perimeter? And, you know, keeping their inside run game on right there. Doing a really good job up front of creating holes, getting a first down and moving the chains.
27 carries, 234 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Miller against Hilliard Davidson of Ohio. And the Rams opener for the 2024 season. Strader from his own 40. Miller, the handoff, runs over a defender into Central Catholic territory right near the 40. What a blow by Miller.
We see that physical nature as Coach LaDon was hyping him up. And on film, it was apparent when watching with his low center of gravity right here, lowers pads, right? He still stays on his feet, keeps his legs churning, falls forward. And those are big boys over on the other side of the ball there, too.
Under
Impressive
1 minute to go. Seamus Mahone, the first to slow him down.
Central Catholic packing the box now, one high safety. Playing one-on-one. Maybe take a look at this matchup down here to the field with Timmons.
Strader rifles it over the middle. Over the head of his intended target, Jalen Niels. the 5'8 junior.
Yeah, we saw there. You liked, they had just similar to what they ran before, this previous drive where they missed. Was a little high with that throw. But those matchups this side here with Gardenhire.
Tonight's in-game stats being shown on the stat ticker below on the scoreboard are sponsored by Penn West University. And later on tonight, we'll name the AHN Sports Medicine Player of the Game. AHN Sports Medicine takes you from sideline to stand out. Call 412-DOCTORS. Book an appointment. Go next level with AHN Sports Medicine. A Strader, once again, looking for Niels. Incomplete. It'll bring up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, just try to run a slip screen right there in the backfield. Get it to maybe a 3rd and reasonable. Just couldn't connect there on the throw. He's still, listen, we talk about him being a young player. I mean, he's a sophomore, right? So I think we're seeing a bit of a switch up here tonight from the game plan for Pine-Richland, just putting more confidence in Strader. And I see why, right? He's done a really good job, but, you know, still just missing some open throws, and I'm sure he'll start to connect with these the more shots he takes.
3rd and 10. Strader rolling out to his right. Shakes off the tackler and throws it away. Another drive where the Rams show promise, Kevin. Once again, results in a 4th down. Clock stopped at 22 seconds.
Yeah, Central Catholic doing a good job of applying a little bit of pressure, making him uncomfortable in some errant throws. I think if you're the Pine-Richland coaching staff, you still like what you see. You still like your matchups. Just need to, focus on execution.
Argerell to boot it away here for the Rams. The Penn State commit Xavier Thomas. Back deep for Central Catholic.
Dangerous man back there.
He is. Already with a touchdown to his name. Argerell gets it away.
Uh-oh.
Takes a Rams bounce right near the goal line, but did it go over the goal line? That's the question.
No,
it looks like no. Wow.
Oh my gosh. And I saw Xavier he was kind of edging closer, and you're yelling, poison, get away from it. But we couldn't tell from up here. But clearly, the ref saw it down there, doing a good job. Those are that's the hitting yardage that we talked about, of trying to win that, the 3 phases. And special teams, not kicking it to their athletes, limiting the big returns, pinning them back on their one. Right, that's Pine-Richland. We've seen the success that they've won we've had their games over the last few years, and they've always played a very sound, three-pronged game, special teams, defense, and offense.
It was Jalen Niels who was able to corral it at the 1-yard line. So Central backed up. If they want to score, they got to go 99 yards to do it. Here's Faulkner just trying to get out of his own end zone. He falls forward as the final seconds of our first quarter tick down. And that'll do it for quarter number 1. Your score, Central Catholic 8, Pine-Richland 0. It's our 10th anniversary of AHN Friday Night Rivals, presented by Mr. Magic, right here on 22 The Point. Just about ready to go here for our second quarter of play. Central Catholic out to an 8-0 lead over the hosts here at Pine-Richland. The Vikings looking for their first win over the Rams since 2021. Kevin, Pine-Richland has had Central Catholic's number these past couple of years, but if you're head coach Ryan Lehmeyer for this Central Catholic team, 4-year starting quarterback at North Hills was Lehmeyer back in the day, played quarterback and running back at Slippery Rock. He's got the football experience, and he's got to be happy right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He likes what he sees from his team early on, for sure.
Inside give there to Faulkner. Rumble ahead near the 10. And that'll bring up a first down.
He likes what he sees from Jair Walls in his second start, right? I mean, talk about this guy. I mean, your quarterback is so pivotal, especially at Central Catholic. We knew that Peyton Wayner, a lot of experience over the last 3 years. What's it going to be like for a first-time starter, right? Even though last week was a tough first assignment, as we see here. Elijah Faulkner.
Here's Faulkner, a foot race, and he gets ripped down right near midfield. We have Elijah Faulkner, 5'9" senior. I think deserves more credit because he is one of the best running backs in the Whitfield, without a doubt. A gain of 39. He's a team captain. He holds Division I offers from Villanova, Cornell, Navy, and was an all-conference selection last year. As a man down on the field looks like Jay Timmons of Pine-Richland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cramp season, you think?
Yeah. Listen, we saw this last week, although it was a little bit cooler last week, right? I mean, it was kind of like a nice fall weather, but this week, I mean, it's approaching 90s, right? This is August football.
Certainly.
Where you really stress hydration, right? And it's hard to do that the day of, but we expect to see a lot of cramps.
Absolutely. So it looks like Timmons is able to hobble off the field with the help of the Pine-Richland training staff.
Get your potassium pills.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And taking a look here at the Mr. Magic fan bubble cam. Look at that Pine-Richland student section. Looking nice with the green, right? Mr. Magic, keep it clean. Smooth. I like it. How about that? The Pine-Richland football helmet, maskless? It's a look, that's for sure.
Vintage.
Here's another look from Walls to Gompers. What a play.
Wow.
Inside the Universal Windows Direct red zone. Walls to Gompers. Beautiful.
We talked about it in pregame. Limit the big plays, right? Make these guys put drives together. These gash plays that they're happening right now are going to make it really hard for Pine-Richland to keep up in this track meet. But Gomper's just doing an unbelievable job there of going high point in that ball and coming down with it. I think he's made up for that drop.
Right? It's a pickup of 38. Give to Faulkner. Falls ahead for 1. We've been talking about Walls throws a nice football.
Absolutely.
He really does.
Confident, right?
Walls, one of the team captains on this Vikings squad. Waited his turn, and he's putting on a show here on 22 The Point. There's no doubt about that. Walls looking to the sideline and overthrows Gompers. It'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
You know, your playbook condenses down at different parts of the field, especially different parts of the field. Your playbook condenses down once you get inside the 10, right? You know, a play caller sheet has, you look at it and it's yay big. It's as big as a kitchen table. It has all different types of writing and colors on it. They have special plays that they like inside the 10. So let's see what they can do and execute in this, condensed area. Right now we saw, the 2-point conversion. They took advantage of a 1-on-1 matchup. It looks like they went to that last matchup right there again.
3rd and 9 for Central Catholic. Walls gets rid of it and overshoots. Max Roman could bring up a field goal opportunity here inside the Universal Windows Direct red zone on 4th down.
Good job of getting some pressure. There was a leak internally there from the offensive line for Central. Doing a good job of making Walls throw off balance right there and getting the field goal unit out.
This is Billy Leck, senior kicker for Central Catholic. Made a 45-yarder against St. Francis on Saturday. And holds a Division I offer from Akron, does Leck. From 27 yards away, it's up. It's far enough. It's good enough. Vikings extend their lead. Central Catholic extends its lead, 11-0 over Pine-Richland, here on 22 The Point. We can see clearly now the rain is gone, at least for the time being. 30-minute rain delay in the books. Back and ready to roll here from Pine-Richland Stadium. Darren Zaslow, Kevin McCabe, glad to have you along. AHN Friday Night Rivals presented by Mr. Magic. 10:31 to go in our second quarter. 11-0 Central Catholic leads over Pine-Richland after a 27-yard field goal from Billy Leck, who will do the kicking duties here into the Gibsonia Knight. A touchback, and that is where Pine-Richland will take over. So, Kevin, Pine-Richland down 11 right now. 30-minute rain delay. How do you regroup from here?
I think we were talking about at break. Hey, what are the coaches saying? Preaching to the players, especially on offense, like, hey, plays were there. We just have to go and execute. So look for those guys right now. I think they'll try to reestablish the run game. They had a few glimpses early on. Had some big runs by Mac Miller. But just know that, hey, in the back of their head, those receivers are saying, hey, man, we have some matchups. Let's go downfield and take some shots, but let's hit them.
Pine-Richland has had some nice drives throughout the game, but unable to get onto the scoreboard. Here's Mac Miller, rumbling past the 25. That's a nice start for the Rams offense.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's kind of what you're looking for right there in 1st and 10 with that RPO game. Continue to chip away as we see here in replay. See these guys pulling guard right there. Nice physical wham block, getting upfield, falling forward for 6.
We've seen Ubi Strader wearing the number 1 at quarterback for the Rams. Really taking control of this offense, coming into his own. As third-year head coach of this Pine-Richland team, John Ladon, has been telling us, has really matured nicely from his freshman to his sophomore season. Strader with a give, and that's going nowhere. This Central Catholic defense, Kevin, at least on the run side of things, in a word, swarming.
Yeah, absolutely. We see here on replay, looked like some type of RPO, post-snap RPOs. You could see Strader there had his eyes on the end. It looked like he kind of was caught in no man's land there, but good job by Gompers there, 11 on the play, huh? He's calling his name offensively and defensively all over the ball tonight.
3rd and 9 for Pine-Richland from their own 21. Under 10 to go in our second quarter. Strader. Deep pass. Caught. Nice play. Jay Timmons moving the sticks for Pine-Richland.
Yeah, fantastic throw there. They've hit that concept, that high-low concept, kind of like a flood over to there to the field side. We've seen this a few times right now. When you give Obi some time on 3rd down, get protected, he can step into a throw. And I mean, Darren, he's throwing from the left hash right there all the way over to the numbers and being able to drive the ball. That's impressive.
Seamus Mahone on the tackle for Central Catholic. 1st down, Pine-Richland from their own 39. McLean off tackle, trying to turn the corner. He's unable to do so, and that's because Mahone was there to slow him up.
Yeah, really good job, Mahone, coming up, filling the hole from the safety spot. That's the goal right there if you're Central Catholic. Keep these guys on their 1st and 10 ground game, limit their plays to put them in long situations right now. So 2nd and 9. So I think if you're Central, you're saying to yourself, you know what, we like to live and die by the, by Pine-Richland being a vertical team, because we think we can cover down the field and potentially get some pressure on Strader.
Ubi almost got that Vikings front to flinch. 7 to go on the play clock. Strader looking right, going to turn upfield. Ubi Strader takes a shot just shy of the 50, right near the sticks. It's a big hit.
Yeah, that was.
Seamus Mahone again, Kevin, the 6-foot junior at 185 pounds. That's 185 pounds coming right at you. Boom.
Absolutely. Yeah, for the young man, you'll want to get your pads down when you're in the middle of the field right there. Big hit, but also positive play, right? Now you're in 3rd and short situation. Let's convert a 1st down right here. Looked like they got him to jump.
We just said they almost got him on the previous play, and that's going to be a Pine-Richland 1st down once we hear from our head referee, Curry Ripley.
Snap, encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
So if you're the Rams, you'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And it's 11-0 game right now, so it's a 2-score game. This drive, right, we've seen these guys move the ball, haven't converted any points. I think it's pivotal that you maybe at least get 3 right here to cut that down to a 1-score game. The Central gets the ball at half, I think so?
Correct.
Yeah. So take some time off the clock here. Make sure you end up this drive with points.
Here's Mac Miller. Had just one man to beat, but Bradley Gomper said, not in my house. He is everywhere. The Duke commit.
Gomper swallowing them up there in the secondary, but not before they get some positive yardage. That's what you want right there from Pine-Richland. Trying to work the numbers here in the box.
He had 14 tackles, did Gomper, Saturday against St. Francis. Head coach Ryan Lehmeyer said it's as good a football game as he's ever seen someone play. Kevin, he's long, too.
That's high praise right there. As good as a football game defensively as he's ever seen play. He is long, and he can run, too, right?
Without a doubt. Strader going to fake the give, keep it himself. Here's Ubi. Ooh-wee. Ubi inside the 20. Ubi Strader with the wheels. And Pine-Richland inside the Universal Windows Direct red zone.
Wow. It looks like just a design run right there. And good job by Ubi being able to hit it upfield, and all of a sudden he sees a backside crease. Their success, Pine-Richland, over the last few years, their quarterback's been a dynamic runner with the ball. We saw right there, Ubi, he brings a different element to the game, and he can evaporate those tackling angles quickly.
Pickup of 27, Rams into the Universal Windows Direct red zone. Here's Miller, off tackle to the left side, hit, runs through a man for a short gain.
Pine now getting to their condensed area inside the 15 red zone. What kind of packages are they going to come up with? We saw a touchdown last week from Tanner Cunningham. Looked like some type of trickeration they had. I know the last few years that we've seen Coach Ladon's coach team, it gets inside the 15 here, everybody has to be alert and stay on to their man, because they'll have something up their sleeve right now if they catch a sleep and could find their way in the end zone.
Mac Miller, head coach John Ladon telling us about him. He's a tough-nosed guy. Next in line in this lineage of great Rams running backs behind Ethan Pillar. Miller again hit in the backfield. And that is Amari Shields with the shield of this Viking defense.
They're not going to sit on their heels and wait to get, those big offensive linemen from Pine-Richland to get their hands on them downfield. So you see Shields coming up, shooting the gap from the safety position, and making a big stick. You'd like to see him wrap up there, right? But still, big stick there for a big play to put these guys in a 3rd and 10 situation.
Shields, a team captain, holds a Division I offer from St. Francis of Pennsylvania. What can Strader and company do? Strader trying to make it happen. What a move. Ubi Strader with one man to beat. Strader is out at the 1.
Oh, man.
That was all Ubi.
Yeah, absolutely. Looked like a broken play. They're trying to get some action going, some type of downfield concept to the left. And all of a sudden, you see him scrambling. He steps up, puts his foot in the ground. He is so sudden.
And he picks up the first down.
Oh, man. Looked like he was just short.
So
had that
close.
ball on his back hip right there as he was crossing the pylon.
11th play of this Pine-Richland drive. The Rams want to go. Kevin, looks like a heavy set look.
Looking like a Wildcat here with Miller.
Wildcat, so close, but yet so far away. On the carry there was Sam Heckert. Standing at 5'11", 180 pounds, right to the goal line.
You can see here they're just lining up with a direct snap with their ball carrier, trying to get more blockers to one side, and they can line up. That's the advantage of having that Wildcat look.
Is this the Wild Ram? Heckert trying to get in. Second effort. Is it good enough? It's really close. And it's 3rd down.
Yeah.
So what do you do here, Kevin McCabe?
Well, I'll tell you what, great job by Central Catholic front 4. Looks like they're in some type of bear front up front right now. Every gap is filled, and they're just keep stringing it out. They're just saying, hey, linebackers right now, come up and fill the gaps, build a wall. But Coach Ladon.
Here's the wild Heckert. Heckert trying to turn the corner. Is he in? No. What a tremendous stop. It's guess who? Xavier Thomas? Are you kidding me?
Watch this. He trips right here, Darren. Oh, man, he thought that maybe he was going to have the angle if he kept his balance.
The Penn State commit has been everywhere. Any specific reason why Ubi Strader's not on the field?
Well, they want to get in this Wildcat look. I mean, there's no secret about what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get a numbers game with that extra ball carrier. And I don't think there's any element of surprise, Darren, right? When you're in the Wildcat with Pine-Richland, they're just saying, hey, we're going to come, we're running inside power right at you. And Central Catholic's answered the bell.
Play clock is winding down. Does Central Catholic want to take some more time to think about this? The answer to that question is yes, as we wait for the 14th play of this Rams drive. Does Pine-Richland have a touchdown in store? We'll find out after this on 22 The Point. The Pine-Richland Rams trying to get on the board for the first time tonight. They face a 4th down and 1 from the Central Catholic 1. 3:04 to go. It's an 11-0 Central Catholic lead. We'll send things down to Donnie Ray Blackwell for a sideline report brought to you by Leon's Billiards and more. And we will be right back to her here after this drop. So here we go.
Ubi's back on the field.
Ubi straighter, out of the gun. The give to Miller. Central Catholic waving their fingers saying, on 4th down.
Yeah, big goal line stand right there from Central Catholic. They spread them out. They got out of the Wildcat and went to more of their traditional look in the spread. Try to run an inside run play. Just had some immediate penetration right there.
Yep, Kevin, this Central Catholic defense has sniffed out this run. Seamus Mahone able to wrap him up without a helmet, exactly. And Kevin Mahone has been all over the field, flying around for the Vikings, who will take over from their own 7 with 2:58 to go in the first half. I formation look for Central. Here's Faulkner with a space past the 10.
Good job right there of getting some yards in that tight package.
Kevin, what do you think of the way that Pine-Richland handled, that goal-to-go situation going Wildcat? Looked like 3 out of those 4 plays.
Coach must have really liked the look that they had. He's seen that a lot in practice, and they were going to stick with it. It's tough whenever your quarterback drives you all the way down there and you take them out. I could see it for maybe a player or two, but who are we to say it? I just like to have your best players on the field right at all times, and maybe they're trying to take some of the hits off of Ubi because he can give you that look. But, man, that's a tough situation then to go back in and 4th down and have to put the ball in the end zone.
Story of the first half for the Rams. Missed opportunities in 2 words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Faulkner in motion. Walls stepping up. Walls with a hole. Walls with the first down, and he slides down just shy of the 25.
And we see some of the scramblability from Walls on the other side. He may not be lightning fast like the way that Ubi is, but in his own right, he's able to just make a smart play right there, step up in the pocket and extend the change, keep this drive going. Really like what I'm seeing from Walls tonight.
Under 2 minutes left in the first half. Walls scanning, throws over the middle. And a really nice defensive play in the Rams secondary. That's Braden Lentz able to break it up.
Tightly contested throw right there. I really like the way that he stepped into that throw, but really good coverage by the Rams in the secondary. So, Dan, you got 1 minute and 42 left, 2 timeouts, and we know the clock stops here for first downs. This is a chance to extend the game to at least maybe a 14-point lead with a field goal, but we see here.
It's a Mahomes-like shovel pass. Faulkner with a head of steam. First down, past the 45. Jair Mahomes Walls.
Yeah, a little trickery right there. Looked like a little middle screen that they had from Walls to Faulkner.
Is that out of the Andy Reid playbook?
Oh, man. Whatever it is, it looked really good.
Screen pass, sniffed out. Thomas behind the line of scrimmage. Short loss here for Central Catholic, just over 1 minute to go.
Right now, if you're Pine-Richland, obviously nothing deep over your head. They have 2 safeties, obviously to limit any of the explosive plays.
Here's another give. Yep. Faulkner with nowhere to go. Under 50 left.
3rd and long right here.
What do you draw up?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of been it's been a choppy half right now. We just came back from a delay. Ideally, I bet Central Catholic would probably push the tempo right here. But since it's kind of been, off and on, maybe they're just happy going with the 11-0 lead, knowing they get the ball back here in the second half. Don't do anything stupid. Turn the ball over in your own territory.
Play clock under 10. And a timeout by Central Catholic. Vikings want to talk about it with 18 seconds left. They're up by 11 facing 3rd and long. I think if you would have gotten that play off much earlier in the play clock, you would have thought that, all right, Central Catholic wants to score some points here. Once it got under 15, you had an idea what they were going to do, and that's be smart when you're up by 11.
Yeah, absolutely, especially as we said, this game's been a little bit choppy with the delays and the stoppages. So typically, we see Central Catholic play with this
education in Brashear, working with middle schoolers, grades 6 through 8. Coach Ladon staying around sports, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Head football
He's
coach.
an engineer. How about that?
Coach Laymeyer, and then John Ladon,
sorry,
correct?
yeah.
No, but you're right. John Ladon on the other sideline, tremendous resumes. John Ladon, Aliquippa High School valedictorian, has a PhD in engineering. Really, really impressive stuff. Dr. John Ladon to you, Kevin. Here's Walls stepping up, unloading deep, and he had Gompers, and the fall is incomplete. Clock stopped at 12 seconds, so Central will have to boot this one away. Pine-Richland will get a touch here before the end of the first half.
Yeah, I think right there, Darren, what happens is, you know what, if we hit one down the field, then count your lucky stars, but if not, there's 12 seconds left. You don't give the ball back to Pine-Richland. But now they just have to get this off.
So Billy Leck will boot it away for the Vikings.
Max protect, make sure there's no punt block. I'm sure they're going to be coming after this punt right here. These are the hidden plays right here that could give a Coach John Ladon team an edge. We've seen the special teams always playing a role in the games that we've had. Pine-Richland.
Tanner Cunningham back deep for Pine-Richland. Booming punt. Takes a Pine-Richland bounce past the 30 as the clock winds to 1 second.
Ball's down at the 33-yard line.
And the Rams will get one more play before the end of our first half. So the Rams will take over from their own 33. Do you take a knee here, Kev? Run?
Yeah.
Or do you take a legitimate shot?
Why not try to take a shot down the field, but at the same time, sometimes injuries happen here in this situation, right? And you want to avoid.
And it looks like the Rams are content with where this game is at right now. Strader takes a knee. Final second winds down. That's your halftime score. Central Catholic 11. Pine-Richland nothing here at Pine-Richland Stadium. Darren Zaslow, Kevin McCabe, glad to have you along. 11-0 Central Catholic leads over Pine-Richland. Let's take a look at the first half highlights courtesy of Health Markets. Kevin, Central Catholic's offense has been dominant. They've been doing it through the air, and on the ground.
Absolutely. We see here some of the highlights here of the first half. Obi Schrader, they got into a rhythm, right? They hit some big plays that we talked about. They just couldn't convert any points.
But then here was the 70-yard touchdown pass. Jair Walls to the Penn State commit Xavier Thomas. That was absolutely fantastic. And the two-point conversion to Bradley Gompers. McLean Miller has been doing all he can for this Pine-Richland rushing attack. But I'll tell you what, Kevin, Central Catholic, they have turned it on when they needed to. Speaking of turning it on, Elijah Faulkner, 38-yard gain. And then Jair Walls going back to work. Another tremendous catch to Bradley Gompers. Tons of highlights in this first half from both of these teams.
Yeah, we see the highlights just right here. A lot of these chunk plays, what we talk about, one of the keys was limit those explosive plays, limit the big plays, make Central Catholic put drives together. You know what? Hey, Central Catholic obviously has great players, so they're going to go ahead and make some plays. But on the flip side of it, we see here those guys putting together a tough goal line stand on the defensive side for Central Catholic. So it's 11-0 game, and you felt like we talked about, we're 1-2 plays away from it being an 11-7 game, and potentially 11-10 game.
Or exactly. Or Pine-Richland could be up 14-11 without a doubt. We are also proud to announce that a $500 check has been presented to Pine-Richland High School from AHN Sports Medicine and 22 The Point. 22 The Point is proud to bring AHN Friday Night Rivals again this year and to support high school football here in Western Pennsylvania.
You guys do a great job of making relationships over the years. I listen to the interviews that you guys have with the coaches throughout the week. And clearly they're familiar with our broadcast, they're familiar with our team, and they give you guys, they're pretty candid with you, and they give you the respect and honesty because they know what type of production is behind our efforts.
Absolutely. Doesn't go unnoticed. Central Catholic outgained Pine-Richland 231-152 in the first half, although Pine-Richland, in regard to time of possession, 16 minutes to 8 minutes, they lead in that category over Central Catholic. Jair Walls, the quarterback for the Vikings, 7 of 12 for 142 yards and 1 touchdown. And Pine-Richland's wide receiver Jay Timmons, 3 catches for 52 yards. So lots of numbers lighting up our halftime stat score sheet as we are just about ready here for kickoff. Central Catholic will get the ball here to start our third quarter. Grant Argero will boot it away for the Rams. Kevin, what are you looking forward to seeing here in the second half? How can Pine-Richland continue to stay in this game?
Well, obviously it's going to start here defensively. Continue to be aggressive up front, but, you know, I'd say that those athletes in the perimeter for Central Catholic, you just have to hope that they don't shake loose and play tight coverage, make those guys work for it. Limit the big plays. That's what we said early on. Make them put drives together.
So Xavier Thomas going to take that touchback for the Vikings. And we'll see what Central Catholic can do, trying to add on to this 11-0 lead. How impressed have you been with Vikings quarterback Jair Walls?
Absolutely. He's put up numbers. He's answered the bell after that tough start last week, and look for him here in the second half.
Yeah, there you see more of your halftime stats. Very even on the ground. Central Catholic, of course, doubling up Pine-Richland through the air off of that 70-yard touchdown pass from Walls to Xavier Thomas. 231 total yards to 146. The Vikings leading in the offensive department for sure. First give of the third quarter. Faulkner for 5.
You see this tempo. Central Catholic back right on the ball. They're going to play fast. And this is exactly with what, you know, the game that they want to turn it into an up-tempo game and get as many shots at the rim as possible.
Here's Walls unloading far sideline. He had Thomas again. But in coverage there, DeJuan Webb-Higgs for the Rams.
Really good coverage right there, staying step for step. Great throw by Walls. Would have been a tough catch, but better coverage right there to knock it away at the last second, prevent a touchdown. That would have been a kind of a dagger in some sense.
That was Webb-Higgs, 5'11" junior, standing at 165 pounds.
You can see here there's no safety help, Darren, right? So
yep.
Coach LaDon saying, hey, listen, we're going to bring some pressure. We're going to cover your guys athlete for athlete.
Faulkner in motion, but a flag on the play. Maybe some movement up front. We'll hear from our referee, Curry Ripley. So to bring up third down and 10 on the false start for the Vikings.
See if they switch up their defensive coverage here. So now they have a little bit more room to keep them in front of them. Keep the offense, the receivers in front, and drive on a ball. Potentially not having to play some one-on-one coverage right here and give up big plays. You want to get off the field here, get the ball back to your offense.
Two receivers out wide to either side of the formation. Faulkner in motion. Here's Jair Walls, and he throws a pick. It's intercepted. That's DeJuan Webb-Higgs. A huge change in momentum. DWH.
Yeah, Darren, that's exactly the play that they were looking for right there. A little spark. Win that turnover battle. That's the first one of the game. Looked like just a miscue right there from the receiver. You know, Walls thought he was breaking in, and he stopped his route right at the top. You can see here on replay, you kind of saw that, right? The receiver was just hanging out at the top of his break.
Miscommunication, it looked like, and there is a flag on the play. And it's going to set the Rams up inside the Universal Windows Direct red zone.
See what this is.
Yeah, hard to know. Could be on the return. Blocking the back maybe on the return. Yeah. Referees are going to talk about it, and we'll hear from Curry Ripley about the flag on the field. What do you think, Kevin? Do you see anything?
You know, I didn't see anything. You know, sometimes, right, whenever there's a return, you do see block in the backs. A lot of times, I know coaches just try to say, get upfield, try to get in front of somebody, don't put hands, because a lot of times you're trailing the offensive team. But any penalty here, right here, will kind of be, I mean, look, you're set up inside the 10.
The result of the play was an interception. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 18 of the return team. 15-yard penalty, first down, Pine-Richland.
So it's on Grant Pillar. As you saw, the rain still coming down here. Could play a factor. So that will back up the Rams out of the red zone near the 30.
Yeah, that was an undisciplined play right there just after the whistle. We had a pretty clean game tonight. And that's Pine-Richland's first penalty of the game.
Yep.
Right. So Coach Ladon, his team's been pretty disciplined. Played a clean game, but right there, it's all about timing and situation.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Definitely be reminding those guys, hey, keep your heads after that big play. Don't set us back after the turnover.
Here's Strader, feeling pressure, and goes down. Kevin, this Vikings front has been tough. And they switch it up. They'll go 4-man front or even a 3-man front.
Yeah, they will. I mean, it looked like, you see some internal pressure right there. The back couldn't stay on his block. And Pine-Richland just, we talked about in the game, they want to establish their run game up front on 1st and 10. They're just dropping back passing. I mean, they kind of changed their identity. It may take a little bit of time for them to get used to, but puts them in a second and long situation.
Ashton Blatt with the sack for Central Catholic. Here's Strader. Gonna launch it far. Has a man. Diving catch is made. That's Jalen Niels inside the Universal Windows Direct red zone.
He's found himself in some long situations, and he's really delivered, especially when they've been able to protect him. Step into the throw right here. Another big-time throw from the right hash all the way across the field. Drove the ball 20 yards down the field in a big chunk play.
Pickup of 23 yards. Strader to Niels. We've been saying this all night. Can the Rams cash it in? Here's a give to the outside. That was Niels. Didn't have a whole lot of room to work with.
Yeah, the traditional Rams power run game. You see a lot of pulling guards. That inside power run game that's been a staple really hasn't been there tonight. And I think that's a bit of a storyline. Central Catholic with a lot of team speed being able to spill that out, make a tackle for a minimal gain.
2nd and 8, pickup of 2 for Pine-Richland. Mac Miller back in the backfield next to Ubi Strader. Strader looking to the near side, has a man. Eli Wentz hit immediately. That's a big hit.
Took that screen and tried to go inside, and the pursuit of the defense is coming from the inside out right there.
Yeah, take another look at that hit.
Watch
Central
this.
Catholic has been laying the boom. That's Ashton Blatt. Already has had a sack on this drive. Open field tackle, nicely done by the 6'4" junior. Once again, Kev, Central Catholic defensive line jumps.
That's a lot of confidence they put into that quarterback to be able to use that dummy kick.
5-yard penalty.
3rd and 8 becomes 3rd and 3. Little things.
Absolutely.
At least the second time we've seen Strader able to get them to jump on the play call.
That could be a tool for your offense, especially if your offense stays disciplined and doesn't jump themselves.
2 receivers each side of the formation. Strader gonna make it happen. Ubi with a cut. Ubi! Strader in for 6. Rams on the board. A touchdown brought to you by Export Tire.
That drive was all Ubi Strader right there, especially here on this touchdown drive to cap it off. Just another broken play that he stepped up, did a great job of stepping up inside the pocket. And once he gets in the open field, man, is he elusive and tough to bring down. Ubi Strader here, keeping these guys alive.
He is tough
Looks
to
like
bring
they're gonna
down,
be out there
Kevin.
for 2, Darren.
That's exactly right. 5'9", 165-pound sophomore. Since taking over for Pine-Richland midway through last season, has not lost a regular season game. Wow. Rams want to go for 2 to make this a 3-point deficit.
Changes some things over here in the perimeter, like the matchup.
Trying to spread them out. Strader rolling right, thrown to the end zone, and that pass is caught. 2-point conversion converted. Tanner Cunningham able to make the sliding grab.
Yeah, it ran a sprint to the field, a little sprint action. The quarterback will press the edge right here. Gives a run, kind of a run-pass option. And he's able to find Tanner Cunningham. That slid in there and he caught it. Yeah, got his hands underneath. Big play there. It's 11-8 ball game, Darren.
Pine-Richland on the board, courtesy of an Ubi touchdown run. 11-8 Vikings deficit cut to 3 here on 20 to the point. Pine-Richland able to get on the board for the first time here tonight, courtesy of an Ubi Strader touchdown run. Brings the Rams within 3. It's an 11-8 ball game in favor of Central Catholic. Darren Zaslow, Kevin McCabe, glad to have you back. Kevin, 9 minutes to go in our third quarter of play.
Yeah, you know what? Now Central Catholic getting the ball back. I'm curious to see how they attack this. And we've seen from them in years past, they like to play fast and up tempo. That run game from Faulkner's looked really good tonight. I'm curious if they kind of go to him more and try to get some more sustained drives and get their identity there and have the pass game open up as they kind of continue to soften up this Pine-Richland defense. But really good job last time of being opportunistic for Pine-Richland and creating a turnover.
Grant Ardra will kick it away here for Pine-Richland. And back deep for Central Catholic is Xavier Thomas and the freshman Chris Black. Chris Black, 5'8 freshman, 175 pounds. Absolutely electric with the football. He has D1 offers from Syracuse, UNLV, Temple, and Akron. Neither Black nor Thomas will get a look at this one. It's a touchback. And with that being said, we'll send things down to our sideline reporter, Donnie Ray Blackwell, for a sideline report brought to you by Leon's Billiards and More. Take it away, Donnie.
Thanks so much, Darren. Well, it would be almost impossible to ignore what is going on in the Rams' backfield. Junior running back McLean Miller is truly a jack of all trades. Not only is he their starting running back, but he is also listed on the roster as a linebacker. But he's also on the Pine-Richland wrestling team. His freshman year, he placed 5th in the Whippeals, almost qualifying for states. And as a sophomore, he was 4th in his weight class. And he was able to become a 3A seeding championship. So this guy will be the one that they lean on this play. Back to you.
As always, Donnie, thank you so much. Once again, Donnie's sideline reports brought to you tonight by Leon's Billiards and More. Faulkner there with the early touch for a minimal gain. It'll bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Vikings.
How about that title drip that he was sporting on that in that picture?
This is the first year that they have given out that belt at Pine-Richland practice in the offseason, which is interesting because it looks new, right? It looks revamped.
Yes.
Man, it's a good look, and no one more deserving, right?
No, that guy, he's a workhorse for sure.
Here's Walls in the pocket, delivering over the middle just behind Bradley Gompers.
Yep, good job right there from Pine-Richland, staying tight to their receivers down the field. I thought it was a little risky, kind of continue to play that just one high or really no help safety look. But Pine-Richland, their corners, right? I mean, we talk about the corners in the secondary for Central Catholic, and they come with a lot of praise, rightfully so. But Pine-Richland's done a good job. I mean, they've given up some plays, but these guys on Central Catholic are really good too. But overall, I think they're doing a good job of limiting those big plays in the secondary.
That's exactly right. 3rd and 7 for Central Catholic. This is a big play. Walls looking downfield, unloading. He has Xavier Thomas again.
Yeah, that is tough. Time and time again to be able to have to line up and run, kind of a track meet. As you see here, Jair Walls, protection all day long and being able to step into that. That looks like a 7-on-7 throw. And, man, when you have athletes like that in the perimeter, it's really tough to be able to stay in his hip pocket for that throw.
It's a gain of 40 yards for the X-Man. And, yes, X does, in fact, mark the spot. Xavier Thomas all over the place. Inside give Faulkner to the 35. Under 8 minutes to go here in the third.
Darren, that's what we talk about, though, the splash plays. Think about those previous two plays right there. Right if you're Pine-Richland, it's kind of right on schedule. Then all of a sudden, you have these big chunk plays, and now those 40-some yards that just evaporated and totally changed the tide.
Faulkner able to cut the corner. That's exactly right for about 3. So bring up 3rd and manageable here for Central Catholic.
That's what we talked about in the pregame, is limiting those big plays. Central Catholic, they can do it in an instant.
3rd and 5. That's exactly right. So what does head coach Ryan Lehmeyer want to draw up? This is Chris Black going backwards, trying to make something happen. And the Rams defense able to corral him back near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he was tough to bring down right there. I think, is he a sophomore?
Kevin McCabe, Chris Black. In fact, yes, he is a freshman.
Oh, he's a freshman already with those type of offers. He's some talent. He doesn't really. They just keep reloading skilled guys. It's amazing what they have over there at Central Catholic.
Syracuse, UNLV, Temple, and Akron are the 5'8" freshman at 175 pounds, Chris Black.
That's amazing.
Watch out, Western Pennsylvania, when he has the football. Whistle blows and a flag. Looks like movement on that Vikings offensive line.
False start on the offense. 5-yard.
So it's going to set back the Vikings. Of course, out of field goal range. And it makes a 4th and long, 4th and longer. 13 to go for the Vikings.
Looks like they're staying on the field. They're going to go for this. I don't know if they're going to do a pooch punt here, but
could be.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. Faulkner boots it away right near the 5. But it takes a Pine-Richland bounce into the end zone. So there you go. That is where Central Catholic will pick up. 6:15 to go in our third quarter. Kevin, the Rams with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to get a pooch punt there, surprise, and they didn't have anybody back there as a safety to be able to catch the ball and try to pin them down, but ball went in the end zone and they get the ball back at the 20.
And coming up tomorrow at 6:30, more college football action. Oregon State hosting Idaho State. You can catch the action on 22 The Point tomorrow at 6:30. Here's Strader launching it deep here down the near sideline. That ball is caught. It's Eli Wentz and a Rams first down.
Big play right there on 1st and 10. We've seen these guys like the matchup down here to the boundary against number 10 Gardenhire, and here he goes. Obi Strader connecting with Eli Wentz. Big
gain
play
of,
right there.
And a gain of 33. Flag. It looks like more movement on Central Catholic. We'll hear from Curry Ripley.
Love that name, Curry Ripley. That's just
right?
a classic
It's a good referee name, exactly right. So 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 5 for Pine-Richland at the Central 42. Kind of felt like it was a matter of time, Kevin, before this Rams offense would click.
Yeah, just a John Ledon coach teams. We've done their games 3 or 4 times now, and they've always just been consistent and stayed in.
And he's picked off. This is Roman Thompson. Strader threw it right to him. Roman Thompson, maybe with the biggest play of the game.
Yeah, right now I don't think Obi saw him. He dropped back in pass coverage. Roman did a great job of being able to read the quarterback's eyes. You can see here on replay, just dropping right into that. Yeah, just dropped right into that.
Looked like a zone.
Yeah, that zone right there. Just kind of spying the quarterback.
Roman Thompson, 6'1" sophomore, standing at 210 pounds. 4-time state wrestling champ, also holds a Division I offer from Akron. Does Roman Thompson. What a play. The Vikings will take over from their own 47.
Clean game by both teams. No turnovers in the first half, and we've seen turnover by each team here in the second half. Start this third quarter. Turnovers, they could be difference makers.
Amari Wormsley in motion for Central. Wall's going to hurl it over the middle, looking for Gompers. It's nice coverage by Jay Timmons.
Yeah, brought some pressure there. Made it uncomfortable. Good coverage downfield. Also hurried up the quarterback right there.
It's the Gibsonia no-fly zone, says Mr. Timmons. Nice play.
These guys are getting tested in the secondary all day.
you know, for Kevin, for an 11-8 game, you've really seen it all. You've seen the splash plays. Now you get the turnovers.
Yeah.
And you just feel that one play really has been the difference so far.
You know, it's early on in the season, too, so execution's still kind of being wrinkled out, right? So week 0, typically that would be a second scrimmage, but now they play a game. This used to be the kickoff right now, the week 1. I think offenses usually take more time to get their, to get the mechanics worked.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So, Kevin, you mentioned those wrinkles and some of those little things. Delay a game penalties backing you up. Encroachment, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Things that are controllable. Setting back this Vikings offense, 2nd and 15 from their 42. 5:32 to go in the third. Split backfield and hit immediately there off the fake. They get it outside to Faulkner, who's dragged down. Nice fake, but not able to do too much out of it. We're the Vikings.
Really good job right here. You see Grant Pillar. He'll come into the screen, shed that block, make a big tackle right there to the field.
3rd and 13.
Yeah, right here. 3rd and 13, 3rd and long. You know, if you're Pine-Richland right now, you'd like to think, like, hey, you know what? Get some extra help over the top. Limit these big plays right now and just keep everything in front of you.
Yep.
Make the tackle.
Too high safety look here for the Rams defensively. Give goes to Faulkner, trying to turn the corner, gets to midfield. It's not going to be good enough. Kevin, you get the vibe that you're running that play on, 3rd and long, that you go for it. We'll see.
Another cramp looks like.
An injured player on the field. 4th and 7 from the 50. Kevin, you said it is cramp season, which it is.
50-50 number. Tonight's 50-50.
Yeah, curious call right there. But, he saw a too high safety, and it may have been a look where the coaches called from the sideline and said, hey, we don't want to force anything. All right, let's punt it and let's play some defense.
Ticket number 5.
Absolutely. Yep, it is cramp season, in fact.
506.
And of course, we would like to thank Penn West for sponsoring our ticker here tonight. Pennsylvania Western University combines the best of California, Clarion, and Edinboro to expand resources, diversify programs, and strengthen their support network. Together, they're better, and your story becomes a cherished part of their collective legacy. Learn more at pennwest.edu. Once again, special thank you to Penn West for sponsoring our stat ticker here tonight below the scoreboard. Kevin, looks like Central has decided otherwise. They're going to punt this football away smartly. 4th and 7 at the 50-yard line. Leck will boot it away. It's a nice kick, nice hang time. And it's going to be caught there by Timmons. Makes one man miss, now 2, now 3, and he scampers to the 20-yard line. One of the most impressive, maybe 5-yard returns you'll see.
This is like two-hand touch. How many guys can get a hold of me without bringing me down?
That's exactly right. 4:12 to go here in the third.
The way this is going, though, we've seen some of these games unwind where the team, after the second half adjustments, you like the way that Pines come out here and limited the big plays off of Central Catholic on offense. They put some drives together.
Once again, Kevin, they have a chance to tie or take the lead.
Absolutely.
Strader was picked off by Roman Thompson on his last passing attempt. Do the Rams decide to go back to the ground? No, they do not. And Strader throws it over the head of Jalen Niels. That's that RPO, Kevin, this Pine-Richland modified pro-style offense. That's the look right there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Obi drive the ball 30 yards down the field, across the field on a dime. And here throwing an RPO, people think those things are gimmies, but you know what? Things happen so quick. It's kind of a different, it's just a different element of the pass game. And, those are gimmies that I'm sure he'd like to have back.
John Ledon telling us we take what the defense gives us, and we'll take our shots at opportune times. Strader under pressure, gets rid of it, but just past the outstretched arm of Mac Miller.
Yeah, they brought pressure, and it looked like they had a swing route or a wheel route from the backfield. And he wasn't able to step into it, making an accurate throw, bringing up a 3rd and long right now. no, this is unlike Pine-Richland where the first 2 plays, no run plays, keeping the ball in the air. Again, coaches have a lot of confidence in this young man, and I understand why. Right? He's put a lot of good stuff on tape. And those receivers are making plays too, for Pine-Richland. So that's going to kind of be we'll see, that could be the difference maker here in the second half.
Under 10 to go on the play clock. Strader's got to get it snapped. He does. RPO keeper, Strader, unable to make Roman Thompson miss. He has been everywhere. And it forces a Rams 4th down. Also, Whitfield Games live streamed and archived, daily Whitfield news and photos. It's all on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. No sign up, no fees, just sports. So that'll force a Pine-Richland punting situation.
And Chris Black, number 1, goes back deep for the Vikings.
Grant Argero will boot it away. Chris Black Jr. back deep for Central Catholic. Low punt. Chris Black going to pick it up at his own 30. He turns the corner, and look out for Chris Black. Flag flies behind the play as he gets into Pine-Richland territory. We're going to wait to see what the flag is, as this one may, Kevin, be coming back. What do you think?
It looks like a block in the back right there. That's what you tell, the special teams coaches are telling them, to put your hands up, try to get in front of them, but definitely don't lead with a shoulder whenever you see the back of their numbers.
Great kick here from Argero, and Chris Black Jr. turning on the Jets. So we wait to hear what this flag is and how far it'll set Central Catholic back. And here it is from Curry Ripley.
During the return, personal foul, blindside block, number 9 of the returning team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Been a very defensive third quarter here, Kevin. Low-scoring game, 11-8 Vikings on top of the Rams. And Central wants to build on to this 3-point lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Both turnovers here we've seen here in the third quarter, first of the game, led to points for Pine-Richland.
Flag behind the play. Walls incomplete, looking for Xavier Thomas. So we'll wait to hear what this flag is all about. And Kevin, that's one thing we've seen a lot of tonight. Penalties at inopportune times.
Yeah, absolutely. After they had a return to the 50, right, looking like they were having good field position. Now they're starting back in the 25. I don't know what this penalty is going to do, but in a game like this, right, this is a field possession game now, right? So you feel like one score for Pine-Richland is going to take the lead.
It was an incomplete pass.
No penalty
So
there.
there you have it.
2nd and 10 from the
Second down here for Central Catholic.
Sorry, Darren, but it really is that hidden yardage right there with those penalties on special teams with nothing else, right?
The little things.
Yeah, it's those little things.
That are controllable, too. Faulkner, hit, rolls forward just shy of the 30. Bring up once again a 3rd and medium situation, Kevin, which is another thing that we have seen a lot of, 3rd and 8.
Yeah, we've seen them in 3rd and long situations, and Pine-Richland's had a propensity here of playing a little bit more sound, safe coverage here in the secondary. I mean, Pine-Richland's defense has really kind of done a pretty decent job all night tonight, with the exception of maybe a handful of explosive plays.
3rd down and 6.
Under 2.5 to go here in the 3rd. Vikings by 3. Walls scanning, going to take it himself. Walls picks up the first down and slides past the 35. That's a nice job.
Yeah, it is. So that's called 2 deep, man under. Right there, and you play some Madden, you know about that.
It's exactly
You
right.
play college football.
That's it. I play both.
There you go. So you can see on the screen right there, no one's accounting for the quarterback. So the 2 high, everybody plays man, 2 high safeties, and the quarterback's unaccounted for. And he's able to take advantage of right there and scramble for the first down.
Faulkner spinning for 2. That's a nice job there by Jair Walls on that previous play. Picking up that first down, doing what he can, just extending the play with his eyes.
But I think that's, if you're Pine-Richland, I'll live with that. I'll live with those guys converting those, because if you're Pine-Richland, make them put those drives time and time again together.
Walls lost his footing for a second, throws it over the outstretched arms of Xavier Thomas. It's yet another 3rd and 8.
right? So you find yourself here in a 3rd and 8 again, right? So even though that he converted that last 3rd and 8 with that coverage, you know, make these guys put these not chunk plays, but, you know, small, you know, 3rd down conversions and test their discipline to see if they, you know, if they can stay within themselves and stay in the field.
Elijah Faulkner next to Walls has 18 carries for 99 yards. Here's Walls stepping up in the pocket. He's flushed out now. He spins at the 40. Short of the sticks. That's a big stop for the Rams defense.
DeJour Webb on the tackle right there. Looked like the ball almost came loose.
Maybe there at the last minute.
He was able to regain. But still, good job of coverage in the secondary and getting some pressure up front. John Ladon keeping his team glued in here in the second half defensively.
So many opportunities for this Pine-Richland team. They're going to get another one here. Billy Leck to punt from his own 25. Leck gets it away. It's a short punt. Angles to the far sideline. Right near the 35.
Darren, so think about it. We've had, I know we had Pine-Richland. First year I did this at Penn Hills. Then we had them in NA. Both of those games, especially the first game, you know, Pine-Richland battled their way back in. The NA game, that was the Palmieri game. Tie turn, but it was a close game. We had Pine-Richland again last year. Every one of their games has kind of been this grind-out mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They don't, you know, Coach John Ladon team, no self-inflicted wounds, play all 3 facets, special teams, defense, and offense, give yourself a chance to win. In every game that we've seen, they've had an opportunity to do so. And, you know, we're here knocking on the door here in the near in the fourth quarter as well.
Here's Miller up the middle. Going to rumble past the 40 into a crowd. Clock winding under 1 minute. And Pine-Richland's done a really nice job being multiple, right? As there is a flag on the field. They're keeping you honest on the ground and through the air.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that RPO game really does keep you off balance, right? Because it makes you cover the full field.
Personal foul, face mask, 15-yard penalty.
So if you're a Rams fan, you'll take that.
Absolutely.
Into Vikings territory with 42 seconds to go in the 3rd.
And right now, it's just Pine-Richland's kind of having the not flinch mentality, right?
That's exactly right.
Staying disciplined, staying within themselves, and just giving them an opportunity to strike.
So here's Strader. 3 receivers to the left side of the formation. And once again, overshoots his intended receiver, and Jalen Niels.
That's that RPO action. Yeah, that happens really quick. And it just looks like maybe, you know, they're kind of hanging on. They haven't really found their rhythm in that RPO action right now, and I know that's going to be an integral part of their offense going forward.
Whitfield Games live streamed and archived, daily Whitfield news and photos. It's all on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. No sign up, no fees, just sports. 3 receiver look to the left side of the formation again for Pine-Richland. Here's Miller, off tackle, trying to find a hole, and it closes quickly for a minimal gain, and the clock rolling under 30 seconds.
Manny Regas again on the stop. Along with number 32.
See if Pine lines up here to try.
Manny Regas on the stop for Central Catholic as well.
3rd down and 8.
Maybe one more play here for the Rams.
Just trying to get him to jump.
Yep. Clock winds. 000 on the scoreboard. That's our end of your 3rd quarter. With a score, Central Catholic 11, Pine-Richland 8. Here on AHN Friday Night Rivals, presented by Mr. Magic, right here on 22 The Point. 11-8, but the Rams are driving, facing a 3rd and 8 from the Central 41. Strader over the middle, incomplete. That's Amari Shields on the deflection.
Doing a good job right there, staying really tight coverage. Amari Shields driving on the ball. Looked like they tried to run something right at the sticks, maybe just short of the sticks.
Special teams on the field for the Rams. Ardro to punt this one away, and that's yet another stop for this Central Catholic defense, Kevin. They have gotten them when they have needed them.
Timing and situation, Darren.
That's right. Low snap to Argiro. He's able to boot it away. Rolling inside the 5. Picked up by Xavier Thomas. Angles towards the outside and gets out of bounds just shy of the 10. And that's where the Vikings will pick up with 11:45 to go.
That's a tough one to field, right? Because he's down and probably has his heels right on the 2-yard line. Kind of felt there was a Pine-Richland guy that may have deflected. They already pinned one down on the 1. He was able to give him some breathing room right there to get the ball to the outside the.
So, Kevin, you want to wind this clock down if you were Central Catholic, but 3-point game, way too early and way too much time left to be conservative.
No, yeah, I mean, you got to keep your foot on the brake or foot on the gas. There's no reason for these guys to take it off. I mean, they really haven't had much continuity here in the second half. Pine-Richland's kept them out of the end zone, so got to find some offense somewhere.
Inside give, not a whole lot. Rams all over it on Faulkner. This defensive line of Pine-Richland, Josh Smith, DeJour Webb, Josh Nindle, Dustin Edwards, they have been fantastic getting that penetration against this Central Catholic offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they've done it, especially on 1st and 10, keeping them limited to minimal gains here on 1st down and pushing the 2nd and long situations.
Walls surveying the field, going to launch it deep into double coverage. DeJuan Webb-Higgs in the vicinity, as well as Braden Lenz. That was a dangerous pass.
Yeah, especially in his own end zone. He hung on that a little bit long. And, we haven't seen the intermediate pass game for Central Catholic right now to develop. They've tried to take a bunch of shots downfield, and they've hit on some. But right now, you kind of just want to see, just convert some 1st down, stay on the field, right? As you had mentioned, right, shorten this game up a little bit. But right now, they just need to find some success in that pass game that's intermediary, that's not just vertical.
Here's Walls again on 3rd and 10. Walls to the outside, incomplete. That's a big stop for Pine-Richland.
This is the field position game, right? We talked about special teams, and now, right, you got to execute, get off a punt inside your own goal line. Not inside your own goal line. They're going to be in the end zone here. Pine-Richland's going to start the ball with great field position if they field it.
That's exactly right. Jay Timmons back deep for the Rams, standing at the Central 45. Billy Leck going to have to punt it away with his heels almost on the back line in the end zone. 11:03 on our 4th quarter clock. Vikings up by 3. Leck gets it off. It's going to bounce in front of Timmons. He'll let it bounce. And still very good field position for Pine-Richland to take over in Vikings territory. And with that, we'll send things down to our sideline reporter, Donnie Ray Blackwell, to bring you a sideline report brought to you by Leon's Billiards and more. Take it away, Donnie.
Thanks so much, Darren. Well, just to add on to the notable alumni that Central Catholic has, from Dan Marino to DeMar Hamlin, there's been a guy making his name known, not on the field, but in the water. 2015 Central graduate Michael Grady was one of the 4 men who were able to win gold in the rowing event in 2024 Olympics. He's been receiving so much praise from his Central Catholic alma mater, and congratulations to him. Back to you guys.
Tony, thank you so much. That's great stuff, as always. I mean, the list of Central Catholic alums goes on and on and on. It's a football powerhouse for a reason. And they're getting it done in the Olympics as well. That's great to see. Short run for the Vikings.
Who was their Olympic representative this year?
Pine-Richland, rather.
For Central Catholic, who was the Olympic representative?
It was a Brady O'Hare or Mara.
Okay.
It was the name, yes.
Impressive.
Rower. Yep.
There we go.
So there you go. There's Ubi Strader, ripped down at the 30. Impressive. Another 1st down for the Rams. Impressive.
There you go. This offense is stop. It's behind Obi Schrader here, especially in the second half. He's doing it with his feet and in the air.
First and 10 on the 31.
They didn't really have too much of a Mac Miller. They've kept him pretty silent here in the backfield tonight. Mac Miller's or Ubi Schrader's really picked up the run attack for Pine-Richland.
Yeah, those RPO keepers. Here's Miller trying to get to that second level, but a short game.
It's a physical game down there tonight. There's a lot of big bodies and speed on that field.
That's
Central
right.
Catholic in the secondary. Those angles close really quickly.
Huge drive here for the Rams.
Another cramp monster out there.
Yeah, Michael Grady, Kevin, to answer your question. Just wanted to get that right. Michael Grady was that Central Catholic rower. So congratulations to him on just a tremendous, tremendous Olympic campaign. And we do have an injury on the field here with 9:31 to go in the fourth.
Kind of put you on the hot seat there.
No, I wanted to get the name right, the pronunciation, and everything. But shout out to Donnie as well. It's fantastic stuff.
Absolutely. Happy to have Donnie part of the team.
Absolutely. She's done a great job, and she'll be hosting our trophy presentation after the game. That's presented by AHN and Mr. Magic. And we will give our first golden ball of the year as well. So Pine-Richland trying to continue to chip away here. You feel like they're on the brink, but can they make that one big play to change this game? And they've got plenty of time to do it with 9:14 to go. Strader going to keep it himself off the left side, and a first down. Ubi Strader with some tremendous wheels.
Yeah, with all the speed and Central Catholic's defense, Ubi Strader, he's evaporating those angles on the edge. You can see, actually, there is no edge help. The defensive end got washed inside, and he'll make you pay.
There you go. First and 10 for Pine-Richland. Right on the doorstep of the red zone.
Yeah, playing right into their hands right now. Pine-Richland played great defense this second half. Limited the special teams. No special teams change of field positions for Central Catholic, and now offensively just control the ball and pound it inside.
Strader again, RPO keeper inside the Universal Windows direct red zone. Just shy of the 15.
Yeah, this is playing out exactly the way that I think Coach Ledon kind of would have wanted it, right? He likes it. These type of slugfest games may not have been exactly textbook. They haven't got the ground game with Mac Miller going the way that they wanted to, but Obi Strader's really picking up the slack here.
It's got a chance to give Pine-Richland the lead here with a touchdown. 2nd and 6 from the Central 17.
Looking to play from the sideline.
What do you do here? That's the question.
Stack in the box. They may take a shot. Nope. Keep it on the ground.
Miller off the left side has a hole. Miller turns the corner. Miller gone. Mac Miller putting the spins on this Central Catholic defense. Miller from 17.
You were waiting to say that all night tonight, DZ. There you go.
A touchdown brought to you by SE Tire. Fast, friendly, convenient. That's exactly what Mac Miller is.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's their bell cow, and give him an opportunity. We just talked about how he's been kind of quiet all night tonight, but you see great blocking there on the perimeter by Pine-Richland's receivers, doing it all around and taking to the end zone and taking the lead here in the fourth quarter.
With 8:14 left, Argero to try and tack on the PAT. It's up, deflected.
Oh, wow.
And still good. 15-11. Pine-Richland with their first lead of the night, courtesy of Mac Miller. AHN Friday Night Rivals presented by Mr. Magic right here on 22 The Point. As we all know, football runs the Steel City, and we are excited to bring you high school football here for the 10th year right here on 22 The Point. 15-11 game. Pine-Richland with its first lead. Plenty of time, though, for the Vikings with 8:14 to go in the game.
Gonna get a return here.
This is Xavier Thomas. He's electric with the ball. And the Rams able to slow him up just past the 25.
Xavier Thomas on the
First return of the night, able to corral him. Good job. You know, Darren, too, you know, you see the rains coming down right now, making it a little extra challenging for that pass game. So for Pine-Richland right now, you kind of like it. Continue to play some coverage, make them run the ball. Especially with the wet ball right now, harder to execute in the passing game.
Absolutely. Thank you tonight to Sunbelt Rentals, the official equipment provider for AHN Friday Night Rivals, presented by Mr. Magic on 22 The Point. Located throughout Pittsburgh, Sunbelt Rentals offers an extensive variety of tools and equipment rentals for your commercial, residential, industrial, and municipal needs. Vikings back on offense. Incomplete pass from Walls intended for Faulkner. Kevin, you mentioned that rain again on passing plays. That's where this becomes a factor.
Yeah, you know, and it doesn't look, even if it's not a torrential downpour, sometimes it always makes it worse when it's just a light drizzle because the ball becomes slick. You almost would rather have it be just a slodge out there and you kind of get the grip. But when it's just wet with the new ball, it's extra slick.
Flag on the play. Faulkner bursting through a seam near the first down marker. But the question, is this coming back? And our referee, Curry Ripley, will have the answer here momentarily.
Procedural penalty on Central.
Formation. On the offense, more than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, replay second down.
Kevin, how controllable or preventable are these Central Catholic penalties?
There's a lot of pre-snap penalties. They're absolutely controllable. I mean, it's the receiver. He just needs to check with, you know, the line judge right here to make sure that he's on the ball. He was not on the ball. And they called him for, you know, legal man in the backfield. But, again, it's the little things. Pine-Richland staying disciplined, Central's not. And we're seeing these guys now having a harder time to execute and stay in the field.
11th penalty for Central Catholic for 80 yards of total damage. Ball's able to complete this one to the far sideline. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, courtesy of Amari Wormsley, the 5'9 junior. So once again, 3rd and long here for Central Catholic.
Right now, if you're Pine-Richland, I like what they've done here in the second half. Keep saying it, giving their corner some help over the top.
Here's Walls, buying time, fires far side. What a play defensively. That's Jay Timmons saying, not in Gibsonia.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Driving on the ball. You know, it's hard for those offensive guys with a wet field being able to get the vertical game going. So Pine-Richland doing a good job of keeping it in front of them and driving on it and breaking up the pass. Getting the ball back to this offense right now, and hopefully they'll have an opportunity to get this, field this punt, get the ball back to the offense, and burn some clock.
Walls was looking for Gompers. That's been his favorite target. One of his 2, we'll say, as well, with Xavier Thomas. Whistle blows and a timeout by head coach John Ladon and Pine-Richland.
Pine-Richland, they're first.
John Ladon, Kevin, this man knows how to win. Before getting here to Pine-Richland 3 years ago, spent the previous 5 seasons at Penn Hills going 46-13. Won a Whippeal and state title back in 2018. This man knows how to win, and he is brilliant.
Yeah, he absolutely does, man. And, you know, it's really kind of a continuation, obviously, of what the previous coach, when Coach Caspera was here. And he's done it a little bit differently. But, you know, a lot of these kids grew up within that program, so he inherited when football was really hot in the community, and now he's just kind of adding to it and adding his own little twist of it, doing it his own way, and he's had a track record of success the way that you mentioned. And these guys, they really believe in the message that he preaches, and they're reaping the rewards.
Taking another look at that last touchdown, really impressive stuff, and that's exactly what Pine-Richland has been doing. Mac Miller, lights, camera, yes, Maction. You like that one, Kevin? You can use that if you want. Leck able to boot it away. Waving for the fair catch is the senior Tanner Cunningham right near his own 25, and that is where Pine-Richland will take over and try and milk down this clock.
Absolutely.
Huge possession.
Yeah, it's a huge possession. Great job. Really like you continue to say, playing all three facets of the game right now, not giving these guys an edge. I mean, Pine-Richland's been close to penalty-free tonight. They had that one turnover here in the second half, but played a really clean game, even though they haven't. See what happens, even at Darren, they haven't executed on all their drives, but if you don't give special team splash plays, limit the penalties and turnovers, look, you still have an opportunity right now to beat a team like Central Catholic. That's a recipe.
Big moment here for the Rams offense. Strader to the outside has Jalen Neals. Jalen Neals, head of steam, up to the 45. First down for the boys in green.
Yeah, absolutely. That's that RPO action right there. They haven't had success. Pine-Richland hasn't had much success hitting that bubble screen. Central Catholic just kind of daring them to hit it. They stacked an extra man in the box right there to try to prevent the run game. Obi doing a great job of taking his time right there, making an accurate throw, and doing exactly what the offense asked of him.
That's exactly right. Clock continuing to wind here. Just over 7 minutes to go here in Gibsonia.
It's there again.
Strader out of the gun. Give to Miller. Trying to get through a hole, but it closed pretty quickly for a short gain.
45 and brought down to 46.
The Central Catholic defensive line. Ron Goodwine, Cole Bayer, Angelo Pugliano, Ashton Blatt. Man, they have been tough to get through. And an injured player on the field looks like it's sophomore linebacker Manny Regas.
You know, Darren, one thing we haven't talked about all night tonight is Pine-Richland starting 5 new offensive linemen. That's amazing that they're able to get these guys up and running and doing a good job of really establishing themselves up front.
We'll be right back. Pine-Richland on top of Central Catholic, 15-11. AHN Friday Night Rivals, presented by Mr. Magic right here on 22 The Point. Welcome back. We have a loaded schedule for our 2024 10th year anniversary edition of AHN Friday Night Rivals, presented by Mr. Magic. Next week, it's a showdown in 3A. Amani Christian Academy hosting Beaver area. Catch all the action right here next Friday night at 7 on 22 The Point, the home of the CW. 2nd and 8 for Pine-Richland on their own 46. Strader once again out of the shotgun. Tyler Hayes in motion. Here's Miller. And again, Kevin, this Central Catholic defensive line flexing.
Yeah, absolutely. They have more numbers in the box right now that they can block, and they have some guys that can create some havoc just with their own matchups. You knew that they're going to get in a situation right here at some point where they're going to have to complete a 3rd and long. So we'll see what Pine-Richland dials up to stay on the field.
Maybe the biggest play of the game so far here for the Rams offense. 3rd and 8 from their 46. Clock continuing to wind.
This is where it's so tough game planning for Obi, because if play breaks down, he has the ability to beat you with his feet.
Here's Strader going to the near sideline. Has a man, and that ball is caught. What a play. Big play, Tyler Hayes into Vikings territory.
Yeah, they gave him some protection right here. We've seen this all night tonight. That vertical pass game, once he has time, he's able to step into it, make a throw. He's got a big-time arm, throws with confidence. And a sophomore being able to make these plays. I want to know how many 3rd and long conversions that he's had within the pass game. Super impressive.
It's a bright future here for number 1 in green for Pine-Richland, without a doubt. Nice play there by Hayes, too. I haven't seen him getting a whole lot of targets, but always a threat to make an impact is Tyler Hayes, the H-back. Here's Miller. Meet Bradley Gompers. He's going to Duke for a reason.
Yeah, he is. You know, and right now they're going to probably see Central Catholic continue to load the box right now and just kind of all-out commit themselves to not letting Pine-Richland just sit back there and run the ball, run the clock out.
Almost a bend but don't break situation if you're the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, you want to get off the field. You got to kind of live or die by something, right? So.
Stack receivers either side of the formation. Strader wants it all. Has a man. It's caught. It's Jay Timmons who dives across the goal line for an SE Tire touchdown. 37 yards.
Really good job here Obi extending the play. They've had that opportunity all night tonight. The cornerback had his eyes in the backfield. Looked like he was trying to come up and got lost. Didn't stay close to his man. Obi doing a good job. Kept his eyes downfield, found the open man, and made a statement play here for the Rams against Central Catholic.
But we do have a flag on the field. Let's hear from Curry Ripley about what this is all about.
Looks like the play is going to stand. May have come after the play.
Correct.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. A 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Okay.
So it's on Timmons, but he makes up for it with an incredible catch and a tremendous second effort. Kevin, take another look. Straighter, keeping the play alive, and that's a dime.
That is a great job of keeping his eyes downfield as the pocket was collapsing. Great effort there by Timmons, not being denied to get the ball in the end zone.
Second, third, fourth. How about a fifth effort? Can we say that?
He will not be denied.
That's exactly right. Argero's PAT is good. If you're a Rams fan, you got a big smile across your face. Pine-Richland with their biggest lead, 21-11 over the Vikings of Central Catholic. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, you know what? Right now, Pine-Richland, like we said, it's the script of, I think, what John Ladon wanted. Limit these explosive plays. A lot of Central's offense came in the first half where they've given up the big chunk plays. Okay, in the second half, they regrouped. They did give up that one turnover, but were able to get off the field. No penalties, limited penalties for Pine-Richland, right? No special teams chunk plays to swing the field. You know, Pine-Richland and Coach John Ladon, this is exactly the way that he kind of wanted to draw this up. Now, maybe a little bit of a different execution coming so much on the shoulders of Obi Strader tonight, and not so much Mac Miller. But you like what you have going forward with Obi and what you've found against a Central Catholic team.
That's your scoring drive summary brought to you by Rosedale Technical College. 6 plays, 75 yards, 2:29 off the clock. And that, Kevin, that's probably the biggest scoring drive right there to give Pine-Richland a comfortable lead here in the game's final minutes.
Yeah, it was a great answer. They had the ball back. You know, coaches, you get the ball back, and the coach wants to say, hey, can we either end the game with the ball in our hands or obviously get the ball in the end zone and extend the lead? And this young sophomore quarterback and the rest of his team, these new offensive linemen, there's a lot of guys that really are providing the production for Pine-Richland on offense tonight, and they're answering the bell.
All scoring drive summaries tonight brought to you by Rosedale Technical College, celebrating 75 years of excellence, innovation, and student success in the trades. Find out more at rosedaletech.edu. So there it is. Pine-Richland on top, doubling up Central Catholic. This is impressive stuff from the Rams.
Now, right here, they got the penalty, so they're moved back a little bit. I don't know if he has the leg to be able to kick this in the back of the end zone, so there's going to be a return here, right? So this is one of those plays right now. Central Catholic would love to get a big return.
22 unanswered points for Pine-Richland here in the second half. Thomas able to corral it. Thomas finds a hole, spins past the 35. Special teams, Kevin, kick coverage, I think, for Pine-Richland has been excellent.
Yeah, I think, as a special teams coach, you're just saying, hey, listen, if we limit the big plays, we don't need to make any big plays ourselves, but let's not let them give them an advantage with turning the tide. And really good job by special teams Pine-Richland tonight.
Flag on the play as well, thrown after it. So we'll wait to see who this is on. Sounds like an unnecessary roughness penalty. And there's a chance that this could back up Central Catholic even more.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 2 of the return team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's on Xavier Thomas. Kevin, what has it been? Because Central Catholic hasn't scored thus far in the second half. Has it been Lack of execution by the Central offense, better play by the Pine-Richland defense, or a combination of both?
It's definitely a combination of both. I mean, Pine-Richland in their defense, it's not like they just lucked into this. But, you know, Central Catholics had some self-inflicted wounds, put themselves in long situations with penalties, and they just haven't made the plays they did in the first half.
Here's Walls over the middle, complete. Gompers at the 30, just shy of the first down marker.
Pass complete, 9 yards to Gompers from Walls.
Central Catholic also, Kevin, not to cut you off, 81 total yards in this second half. Very interesting. Walls extending the play, going to pick up the first and scoot out of bounds. Here's the difference, Kevin. 81 total yards for Central Catholic, 75 penalty yards.
Oh, wow.
And that right there is the difference in this game.
Oh, that's going to drive a coach crazy, right? And a lot of those penalties, they're self-inflicted, right? They're pre-snap penalties, just concentration.
Control the controllables. Easier said than done. Walls hit and dropped. That's Josh Nindle, 6'4" senior, 305 pounds, has an offer from Hampton Sydney College, Division III school in Virginia, with a nice sack.
There you go. Yep, good coverage sack right there, getting to the quarterback. I think really a big change has been the secondary of Pine-Richland being able to stay with their guys in the secondary and limit their explosive plays.
Ball stepping up in the pocket, now flushed out of it. He'll slide back at the original line of scrimmage past the 30. Clock winding here, under 4 minutes to go in the fourth.
Definitely the rains made it hard for these guys to throw the ball down the field. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, you're going to have inclement weather on Friday nights. You've got to prepare for it. And this Central offense needs to find a little bit more of a rhythm in their intermediate pass game.
Jair to the air, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Maceo Watkins, the 6'2 junior, just a tad low.
I mean, that throw right there, I think, you know, that's part of their intermediate pass game, the short pass game. They're gonna, you know, they can only have so many chunk plays. Obviously, it's not something you want to live and die by. You need to develop all levels of the pass game to make it a real threat.
So 4th and 10, essentially the game here for Central Catholic. Faulkner in motion. Here's Walls stepping up in the pocket, buying time. He has Bradley Gompers. He picks up the first, and Gompers has room. Did he step out of bounds? I don't think so. Gomp, 68 yards.
Oh, my gosh. Talk about quick strike offense. Uh-oh. Did he step out of bounds maybe? They're calling it.
That's the question. Did he step out of bounds? We're waiting to see. If so, they blew that dead really late. And it sounds like the result of this play is going to be a touchdown from what we're hearing from the referees. It's brought to you by SE Tire. Fast, friendly, and convenient. Welcome to the Gomp Show.
Yeah, right there. You know what? Central had all the time in the world. Great protection. Able to find a guy on a crossing route. And they have athletes on their side of the field too. Look at just one play right here can totally switch the tide. And just when you thought this game was going to be wrapped up, Central Catholic has the firepower to score just like that. Chunk plays.
Yep.
Right? Here we are. We find ourselves potentially with one stop to get the ball back and take the lead.
And take another look here, Kevin. Did he step out of bounds? I don't think so.
I don't know exactly what they're...
Referee's still conferring about what this is.
I don't see a flag on the field either. What potentially could they be discussing?
It's either going to be a 68-yard touchdown and Central Catholic's going to be right back in this, or potentially out of bounds. This is a long discussion from our referees, and we're going to hear from Curry Ripley potentially about what this is all about. Any idea, Kevin, from what you saw? Replay is not really showing us a whole lot.
No, I didn't even know that there was a flag on the field. But maybe they're talking about something that happened after the play. It sounds like, it looks like the touchdown's going to stand. Maybe they're just deferring right now where they want to assess the penalty on the extra point or maybe on the kickoff. You can see right here in the replay.
Looks like a SC Tire touchdown to me. It's a tough angle, but
we didn't see really anything that gave us where the penalty would have came from there. That's for sure. All I know is Bradley Gompers hasn't came off the field all night tonight. When he got into the end zone, it looked like he needed this extended break because he's going to go right back out on defense, and he's going to be a key player to get these guys off the field to get the ball back, hopefully, to their offense.
Well, the rain is still coming down, and you're right about that. And there you see head coach Ryan Lehmeyer for the Central Catholic team talking with the referees just about what's going on.
Foul. Number 4 of the scoring team.
So unnecessary roughness on Elijah Faulkner, but it's still a touchdown for Central Catholic, and that brings the Vikings right back into this ball game.
You know, if you're Coach Ryan Lehmeyer, obviously you want to get out of here with a win. It does a lot of. There's a big boost of morale right there to come away with a win, even as ugly as it is. But there's a lot on tape right now that the coaching staff is going to take a look at and say, you know what, we're hurting ourselves. We can't continue to put ourselves in these holes with self-inflicted penalties, personal foul penalties, and pre-snap penalties. Right? Something's holding. That happens sometimes, Darren. Right in the midst of a play, and you're fighting and scratching and clawing. Sometimes they happen. Coaches don't like it, but post-snap penalties and pre-snap penalties. We talk about this, right? Those are concentration and discipline.
Yep.
And Coach Lehmeyer, I know him. He preaches that.
100%. No, without a doubt. And again, in a game that's this close, one-score game, these are the things that make a difference. And right now, in a 5-point game, Central's got to go for 2. They've already converted one 2-point conversion.
But Darren, now guess what? They took the penalty on the extra point, which pushed them back now to the 17.
Correct.
They may kick it. Maybe they'll go for 2, but just shows you, it just makes it that much harder whenever you continue to put yourselves behind the 8 ball.
That's exactly right. You do have a capable kicker in Billy Leck. Made a 45-yard field goal this past Saturday against St. Francis, so he can do it, of course. Some challenging weather conditions, without a doubt, but makeable. Or do you go for broke and say, look, you got nothing to lose, and maybe that's the move? So I'd also like to thank our Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Clarion for being another one of our hotel sponsors. They have it all. Free high-speed internet, full breakfast buffet, indoor pool, fitness center, and more. Make your call, 814-223-4010. The Clarion Holiday Inn Express, your Sports Fever TV headquarters. Jair Walls going down, but a flag on the play.
We'll get a hold here on the offense, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an offensive hold, and they'll decline that.
So if you're Central Catholic, you really have nothing to lose there.
It kind of hurts the morale, though, a little bit. Right after that big play, you get a penalty and kills a little bit of the momentum that you had. But, hey, listen, at the end of the day, you're one stop away from being able to get the ball back and put a drive together to win the game.
But the question is, can the Vikings get that stop? That's the big question. We're about to find out here shortly in a 5-point Rams lead.
Chunk plays for for Central Catholic. Did a great job tonight. There's a few plays that stand out. They eliminate, just like we said in the pregame. Those were the keys.
Yep. That's exactly right. 3:22 to go in the ball game. The Vikings need one stop, and they've got 3 timeouts. Pine-Richland trying to milk this clock. The Rams have 1 timeout remaining.
I'm definitely going to see Pine-Richland here, I'd imagine, keep the ball on the ground and try to turn this clock out. We'll see if Central loads the box. And
looking for the best high school highlights on the football field and analysis, the Whitfield Insider Recap Show, hosted by Carlos Zovko, airs Sunday nights at 11 on 22 The Point. Give them a follow on X at Whitfield Insider. Appreciate their support throughout this 2024 high school football season. Leck puts his foot into it, into the end zone for a touchback, and Pine-Richland here, 3:22 to go, Kevin. Maybe more the RPO game you go, either with Strader or Miller, keep them honest?
Yeah, with that RPO game, you just have to make sure that you hit those bubble screens to keep the clock going. A stop clock right here is just detrimental. I'd imagine to see that they're going to have a heavy dose of the inside run game with some counters and sweeps. Look for those guards pulling and pound the ball up the middle.
And once again, the Whitfield Recap Show. Quick reminder, airing Sundays at 11 o'clock on 22 The Point. Best highlights and analysis from the Whitfield insider himself, Carlo Zovko. Check it out, Sundays at 11 on 22 The Point. So here we go. Pine-Richland with Strader and Miller trying to win this thing. Miller makes a man miss. Can't get away from that second defender. That's a loss, Kevin. You run the risk here of maybe being a little too predictable. What do you think?
Yeah, you do. At the same time, we've seen in years past Pine-Richland end the game with the ball in their hands because they've had so much, dominance up front. It's a little bit different this year. They haven't really had that same push as they've had in years past. So Obi Strader, he's a difference maker. I'm sure we're going to look for him to make a play here at some point. Maybe this, second and third down, put the ball in his hands and make one first down to really, try to cement this win.
The heart of this defense for Central Catholic, Roman Thompson, Bradley Gompers, giving it their all. Strader on the keeper, and he'll roll ahead past the 20, just past the original line of scrimmage. But, Kevin, this is going to bring up a third down and long situation and a timeout on the field.
Yep. Obi did a good
Central Catholic.
Sorry, Aaron, but Obi did a good job right here of getting some positive yardage there on second down. Now it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And honestly, I think at this point, you can't worry about stopping the clock. I think you want to get a first down, stay on the field. You don't want to give the ball right back to Central. So look for them to dial something up here to the field. The ball's in the left hash right now. We've seen Obi, hit some crucial 3rd and long passes from the pocket. For Central right now, maybe bring some pressure. Don't let him just sit back there and throw the ball to the outs to the numbers, and because he has the arm that's capable of really stretching the field. So look for him to be uncomfortable. At the same time, we know Obi can he can make things happen in unstructured plays. So
maybe you go here, Kevin. This is Coach Darren for you. This is just off of video game offense. Maybe you go RPO and you go with the P in that sequence. And you go fake the give to Miller, and maybe you look for your top receiver tonight, and that's been Jay Timmons. You give him a chance.
Yeah, I think
we'll see.
That play works for you a lot, Matt, doesn't it?
Square button?
Square.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here it is. Big play. Strader fakes the give, keeps it himself, goes nowhere. Roman Thompson and Bradley Gompers, Kevin, we've been talking about them, and they get a big stop.
Yeah. You know what, though? But Coach Ledon has confidence in his defense, right? I mean, this kind of what that says right there. We're going to punt the ball off, right? We're not going to let you get a big return. We're going to kind of live and die right here by our defense. I mean, it's not a bad recipe. They played lights out football here in the second half. They let up that one big play on that last drive right there. Other than that, you really like what your defense has given you here, and hopefully they just have some protection in the secondary. Don't put those corners out in the island where they, feel like they're kind of all alone, and make I'd say make Central, get some first downs and beat you with drives.
Central Catholic still, even after this, will have one timeout to play with, which is big for the Vikings. And you would expect some pretty solid field position, giving your two tremendous returners, Xavier Thomas wearing the number 2, Chris Black wearing the number 1, the dynamic freshman. Viking student section jumping up and down, making some noise. They have weathered the storm, literally. Here we go. Booted away.
Gonna get a return.
Here's Black with a chance. Black trying to get upfield. A nice field position for the Vikings as Chris Black Jr. sets up Central Catholic at the 50.
Good job there covering the punt. Good job both sides. Now we're at the 50. Darren, what a way to kick off Friday Night Rivals season right here.
Could you ask for anything more? I think not.
No. I mean, this is Central Catholic Pine-Richland. What a rivalry it's been over the last few years. A bunch of storylines unfolded throughout the game here. And now, can the offense of Central Catholic, which has been so prolific over the last few years with this new quarterback, can he put a drive together to get these guys back on a winning way? Think about starting 0-2 if you're Central.
Yeah.
They're not used to that.
Is this the Jair Walls legacy moment? He's got a chance to put it on display. Walls over the middle. Sorry, far side complete. It's a completed pass for Jair Walls.
Oh, they gave him a
for
first
Max
down.
Roman.
Second down. Yeah, it looks like it's still, well,
They're going to give him the first down.
moving the sticks.
Walls again. Looking to the right side. And it is going to be caught by a diving Bradley Gompers. What a play.
Gompers is all over the field, offensive and defensive tonight. You can see here in the replay, looked like, yeah, he did get his hands underneath it. Looked like it didn't hit the ground. Second and short.
Jair to the air. And he slips and falls in an inopportune time with the clock still running under 1:30.
3rd and 5. They're going to conserve their timeout right here. Still have time. Big 3rd down conversion right here.
Here's Air Jair. Looking deep, buying time. Jair has room. Going to take it himself, makes a man miss, picks up the first down. He's ripped down at the 25.
We'll see what they do here.
Does Central Catholic want to use that timeout?
The clock stops right here. I don't know if they'll spike it or they'll run a play. Looks like they're going to run a play.
Here's Jair Walls. Scanning. Going nowhere. It's Josh Smith. And Central Catholic now going to use their final timeout.
Wow. Darren, that play right there was big. I thought that maybe after that first down they were going to spike it just to give them a breather. It looked like they were really laboring out there on the ball, running play after play, especially as your quarterback just scampered around there and got the first down, or maybe called something quick just to throw the ball down the field and you stop the clock at least. But regardless, Pine doing a great job of covering down the field and, you know, letting that pass rush of up front, who's been tenacious tonight, get to Jair and make a huge play. Now they burn their last time out.
The Rams celebrating Josh Tober a little early, Kevin.
Yeah.
You like that one? Josh Smith, the 5'9 senior, with a huge play. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 19 for Central Catholic at the Rams 35. 49 seconds to go.
So situation right here, situational football. Got to be alert of this. So throwing the ball in the middle of the field. Obviously, you have to have another play ready. Get on the ball. 2 plays at the ready right now. If you get out of bounds, obviously you can huddle back up. But definitely, if you get tackled in the field of play and the clock keeps moving, you got to get back on the ball here and run another play.
Can Central Catholic do something they haven't done since 2021 on a football field? What is that, you may ask? It's beating Pine-Richland.
Wow.
And they've got a chance to do it. Walls, pocket collapsing. Walls delivering over everyone's head.
Yeah. That wet ball right now just doesn't look like he has a great grip throwing the ball downfield, but good job by the pass rush making him escape. Pine-Richland right now dropping 7 guys in coverage. You can see here him stepping up. A lot of over-top support for those DBs from Pine-Richland.
Kev, do you maybe try and get half of it back? Drop something either a little short, it could be a screen.
Yeah, I mean, if you do, right, there's 43 seconds, so there's still plenty of time to huddle up after that. But even if you do, right, get half of it back, huddle up on the ball and have a play call ready to be able to get downfield.
And maybe you go to Faulkner here or give him a chance to pick up some of it. He's now in motion. Walls stepping up in the pocket, airing it deep, has a man, and it is broken up. DeJuan, Webb, Higgs, DWH, not in DeJuan's house.
No. Xavier Thomas took out a band member there on the play at the end. Great job right here of staying connected to the hip. Those guys have been tested tonight, man, in the secondary of Pine-Richland.
Do you like that, going for the one-on-one look? It's a good look, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, right, do you get half of it back? They're just in a tough situation without any timeouts left. What do you do? Now it's obviously a 4th and long, and you got to get somewhere to the sticks and convert. Pine-Richland's going to take a timeout here to talk about it.
John Ladon saying, give us some more time with the game on the line. 4th and 19 for Central Catholic at the Rams 35. talked with head coach John Ladon this week. He says, look, we don't have the numbers that we used to have here at Pine-Richland. It's a smaller senior class. It's a smaller sophomore class. But John Ladon told us what the Rams lack in numbers, they are making up for in the future. And he says that's going to come from the middle school and youth levels. Once again, we would like to thank Penn West University, which is our Stat Ticker sponsor here tonight. Appreciate their support of the broadcast. As always, once again, that is Penn West University, our Stat Ticker sponsor here on Friday Night Rivals. "34 seconds left.
Right now for Pine-Richland, you're just hoping that one of your down linemen can win a block and make it uncomfortable. Get, Jair off his spot. It's just so he doesn't sit back there and be able to pick you apart. And you're going to see Pine-Richland right now. We see what they're going to drop 8 guys back in the coverage. So they're going to have some time right now to sit back and make a throw here. But big stop, big play right now here on 4th down to decide the game.
5 wide for Central Catholic, game on the line. Walls under pressure. Walls gets away. Walls has to get rid of it. He's unable to do so. Pine-Richland defense, stand up. It's raining Rams.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Pine-Richland showing their fortitude right here. Situationally, they gave the ball back to Central Catholic. They had an opportunity to go down and take the lead, and they stayed strong and showed, what type of team Coach Ladon really has, man. I mean, it's an all-unit special teams, offense, defense. These guys bend, but they absolutely do not break.
Tremendous defensive showing here by Pine-Richland. They erase an 11-point halftime deficit. And for the 3rd year in a row, this Central Catholic, Pine-Richland, Ladon, Laymeyer rivalry is going to be going to the boys wearing that beautiful looking green.
Darren, I can't show my allegiance, all right?
No. In 26 seconds you can.
No. This is a great game tonight.
Ubi takes a knee. And Pine-Richland saying the 3rd time is not the charm for Central Catholic. Rams get their 2nd win of the year in comeback fashion over their rival, the Central Catholic Vikings, 22-17. With the loss, Central Catholic drops to 0-2 on the year. Like we mentioned, Pine-Richland improving to 2-0 to kick off our 10th year anniversary of AHN Friday Night Rivals, presented by Mr. Magic here on 22 The Point. Post-game show is coming up next. We will hand out our golden ball, tell you about our AHN Sports Medicine player of the game, our Mawson and Mawson turning point, and our A Comfort Service play of the game. All of that and more coming up next here on 22 The Point. 22-17. Pine-Richland for the 3rd year in a row takes down the Vikings of Central Catholic. We are waiting for our sideline reporter, Donnie Ray Blackwell, to chat with the winning head coach of Pine-Richland, John Ladon, and tonight's AHN Sports Medicine player of the game, that being Ubi Strader. We will chat with him as well coming up here shortly. So super exciting game as we wait for Donnie to get in position. That's a happy-looking group of Pine-Richland Rams. And they are all TV ready. And we'll now send things down to Donnie. Donnie with a lot of happy Pine-Richland Rams. Take it away.
Thank you, guys. I am here with Pine-Richland Rams. Major turn of events for you guys. You guys weren't able to even score in the first half. So what was the turning point for you all?
Just the resilience our guys have. We never get down and get defeated. We just look for the next opportunity to make a play.
Okay. And pretty tight game. So what were you telling your quarterback to do in order to win this game?
He got to be special at times, and we expect him to be special, and he made some plays when we needed him to make plays.
Okay, thank you. And the first guy to win our trophy for Friday night. Let's get it. Okay, so how are you feeling on those last couple of drives to get a win out tonight?
I just feel like I needed to do everything for my team, and I had to get a win for us.
Okay. What do you think this says about the team?
We're going to win the state championship.
Okay. Well, we're going to send it back up to you guys. Thank you so much, and congratulations, guys.
Donnie, thank you so much. Lots of smiles tonight in Gibsonia. They did it via rain delay, and they did it via comeback fashion. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Taking a look at your A Comfort Service play of the game, Jair Walls, Bradley Gompers, the Brad Vantage, if you will, from 68 yards. A Comfort Service, interest-free financing to fit any budget. Also, speaking of big-time plays, tonight's Mawson and Mawson turning point. We talked about Mac Miller and how great he has been this season, and Mac Miller was able to once again help Pine-Richland extend its lead on the ground. That's your Mawson and Mawson turning point, courtesy of the Mac Attack, Mac Miller. Mawson and Mawson, America's oldest Class 1 carrier. It's providing trusted transport since 1895. And to cap things off, your AHN Sports Medicine player of the game is Pine-Richland sophomore quarterback Ubi Strader. Ooh-wee. A fantastic game. Strader, 10 of 20, 200 yards and a touchdown. He also added 76 yards on the ground and a touchdown. AHN Sports Medicine takes you from sideline to stand out. Call 412-DOCTORS to book an appointment. Go next level with AHN Sports Medicine. Kevin McCabe, your final thoughts.
Yeah, you know what? Ubi was our key to the game coming into the night. And he really does give your team a different dynamic out there, right? Throwing the ball. I don't think they've had this type of vertical pass game in the past, and he gives you a presence. I mean, he was completing third and long after third and long. And then, obviously, in the run game with his feet when plays break down, he's a threat. So really excited to see where this young man continues to take this team. And exciting stuff for PR.
Tonight's trophy for AHN Friday Night Rivals and Mr. Magic are presented by both of those sponsors. We appreciate their support throughout the 2024 AHN Friday Night Rivals presented by Mr. Magic season. Our 10th anniversary kicking off in style here on 22 The Point. We'd also like to thank both schools, that being Central Catholic and Pine-Richland, along with AHN and Mr. Magic for making this game and the entire 2024 Friday Night Rivals season possible for our viewers at home. So once again, that'll wrap things up. Your final score is Pine-Richland 22, Central Catholic 17. For Kevin McCabe, Donnie Ray Blackwell, and the entire Sports Fever Television Network crew, I'm Darren Zaslow saying good night from Gibsonia. We'll see you next Friday night at 7 when Amani Christian takes on Beaver Area, a game you won't want to miss. You've been watching AHN Friday Night Rivals presented by Mr. Magic here on 22 The Point, the home of the CW. Have a great night and a great long weekend.